There it is. There it is. All right, ladies and gents, welcome back. We're doing a day late show. Marty had some things to do, so we're doing it a day late. That's fine. Better late than never, as they always say. But yeah, it's Thursday. We usually do this show on Wednesdays. But welcome to the show. Let us know in the comments. I've been hearing about some weird stuff with notifications and whatnot. So let us know in the comments if you got your notification or if you had to navigate to the page or what have you. Even like in the chat, but then also after, if you're watching this after the fact, let us know how you got the notification, how you knew to watch this even in the first place, because yeah, things are happening. Anyway, let's get into the preamble. Preamble is, this is a live show. We've been doing this for 4 years, and we started doing it live maybe just over a year ago. We then recently tried to do some experimentation with some other features on YouTube. There's a premiere thing and something. Live is the best format. So we decided we're just going to stick with live, and we're going to do it this way. Now, the way we set this up is, for the first hour, Marty and I are going to be talking about the things that we've, wanted to talk about all week. And then we'll get to that stuff. We try to cut it down to an hour, and then we're going to be taking your comments and questions and all of that stuff after in the second half. So if you guys are live watching this with us, whether you're on Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, X, wherever you're watching this, this is the place where you can actually comment with us live while it's happening. So that's a lot of fun. But it'll be on the second half of the show. So, and we're going to try, because we sometimes go way too long. I know you guys have a lot of questions, lots of comments. But if it runs long, we're going to have to, allocate as much time as we can to you guys' comments, but we are going to try to keep it at like a 2-hour show. That's the goal here. So anything else to add to that, Marty?
No, it's all good. So yeah, it's going to be, we've often said we'd like to try and keep it at 2 hours. To be honest, some days like the chat goes on and I'm happy. We're all good, right? But some days we recognize that one of us is getting tired. And then we also recognize we got viewers that are in Newfoundland. Like, remember last week, like it's like 10 o'clock at night at my time. I'm like, holy smoke, somebody in Newfoundland. Like, actually, what's the farthest we've had viewers? We had a viewer from South Africa one time, right? Like that would be...
I know I have a viewer from Kuwait.
Really? Yeah. Because we've had super chats with Mexican pesos, and I remember what's the currency in South Africa? We had something one time, like we had to look it up, like kronas or Krugers or something like that. And oh, maybe that's what it is. So anyways, yeah. And then do we have people that are like, if somebody's in South Africa, I'm sorry to drag this on, but are they talking to us tomorrow or yesterday?
Oh, that's a great question. So we'll get into it. But hey, let's get it. Wow, we're actually going to get into that really soon, because I'll be in Japan.
Right.
And you are talking to me tomorrow when I'm there. That's
wild.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it work, because Yuji's going to come in and he's going to help facilitate it so that everything runs smooth and there's no hiccups with internet connections and all of that stuff. So hopefully it all works. We're going to keep the Marty and Clyde show on the usual Wednesdays, even for the month that I'm not in Canada, because I'll be in Japan and then in Texas and then back after a month. All right, let's get into it. Marty, where do we even start? So much this week. Someone took another swipe at the president of the United States of America.
Let's go there. Right. We didn't, that happened after our show last week. What day was that? Friday or Saturday?
I think it was, I want to say it was Saturday that it happened.
Yeah, it was their annual press gallery dinner, right? A press gallery. It's too bad, because the press gallery dinner is actually an interesting dinner, right? It's the dinner where it's an interesting dinner for two reasons. It's the dinner where the president gets to make fun of the press, right? Because the press holds him to account all year long. So usually they turn the tide, so the president gets to make fun. And I was looking forward to that. But it also reminds me, I think the catalyst for Trump to want to become the president of the United States was at a press dinner. I'm sure you could find that. You could find that clip real quick. There was a famous clip where Barack Obama made fun of Donald Trump. So Barack Obama was the president, and at a press gallery dinner, Trump was just an invited guest. And I guess maybe at that time, Trump had his show on TV, whatever, The Apprentice. And Trump had been one of those guys sort of harping on Obama to reveal his birth certificate or whatever, and maybe if you can find the clip, because I remember that clip, and I remember at that time thinking, oh, you just kicked the hornet's nest, Obama. You just made fun of Trump, and that's the moment to me when I saw that moment. I remember thinking, oh, Trump's going to run for president. Like that was under the Obama era. If you can't find it, it's no big deal.
No, I found it, but the audio is just so damn loud when I went to play it. I blew my eardrums out. All right, let's share this this video. I think this is the one you're talking about. Back in 2011, Obama mocked Donald Trump repeatedly in the White House. Yeah, this is it.
Donald Trump is here tonight
and proceeds to fillet Donald publicly.
No one is happier. No one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell?
Oh, you didn't like that.
And where are Biggie and Tupac?
Donald's face was so.
Anyways, I mean that's the actual clip, but it's part of a documentary. Yeah. So, anyways, I was looking forward to the actual presidential dinner because you can expect some good zingers, right? And Trump's good at zingers, so we would have been spoiled with some nice zingers, but instead, somebody didn't actually take a pot shot at him, right? Somebody stormed the dinner, and then they got the Secret Service managed to do their job.
So right? This is the thing, like, this is why you don't report on this stuff as it's happening, as if you have all the facts. And so many people had, made so many statements on it. The guy got killed, and that didn't happen. He stormed the dinner, that didn't happen. He was
trans, he was this, yeah.
So what did it turn out to actually be? It was a Democrat, a Democrat guy. He was not some slouch like back alley bum. It was actually like a teacher or something. He was, not just
pretty average Joe, right? Pretty average Joe,
but he was definitely Democrat. He had a manifesto, and his manifesto repeated a lot of the talking points that you get from the mainstream media and you get out of academia, this kind of thing. And he come running out into the lobby. I think it was the lobby where the security checkpoint was, with firearms on him, and then proceeded to go in. And then he was shot at, but then he was apprehended. I think he was tackled after he was shot at, and then he was tackled. It wasn't even on the same floor as the event. So people are saying that it was like right at the lobby and he was about to get in. No, it wasn't even on the same floor. So it was.
No, I mean it obviously wasn't nearby, because some of the reactions were really fascinating to watch, right? Like, some people are, people are looking around trying to figure out what's going on. What I loved is, like, all of a sudden there's Secret Service agents jumping in. They took away Vance, they took away whatever, Trump. And then there's all these videos that show up of, like, I got my beer in my hand, but like all these journalists are like, well, I'm not leaving. And they're grabbing the bottles of wine off the table and they're chugging the champagne and doing whatever. It's like, so when I saw that, when you see that kind of behavior of like people just chugging champagne, it's like, well, is this real? Like, what's going on? So it's real. It's a real event. But I would say it was one of the poor attempts to get after Trump, right? I don't think that guy had any real intentions of getting close to him.
Well, he had a manifesto that he actually wanted to. He was trying to actually pull this off. Whether he thought in his brain, you think he was like the Matrix and he was going to go in there like Neo and do like backflips and stuff. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
At these events, as the president of the United States, you're an idiot. But at the same time, there's a lot of people talking about this, the fact that he's alive. He survived it. And is he going to turn into another Mario or Luigi, whoever's that guy's name? The guy who assassinated the CEO of an insurance company. Like, the left has these heroes when they survive these kinds of events. It was a thwarted attempt, but they're egging it on and they're cheering it on. And this is what's absolutely crazy about this, is the violence that comes from the left. And it really is from the left. You hear about, like, everybody's worried about, a rise up of hate groups on the right in America. And it doesn't seem to be the case at all. It seems to be the only real violence is on the left. and it's frequent. It's just they're trying to justify it rather than just even excuse it. They're trying to. It's pretty bizarre, and it's terrifying, actually.
It's terrifying in the U.S. It's terrifying in Canada. We see that all the time. Same thing. I mean, the violent left. That's what we call it, the violent left. And they're violent in ways that they don't even think they're violent, right? Like when they say, something as simple as you guys all should be in jail, like just like that for every crime, everything that we do slightly wrong, they're like, you guys should be in jail. Like I'm like wow, it's just complete intolerance that goes all the way to violence. But before we move on,
number 4 though, let's not forget about that. Like how many presidents have been assassinated in the past, and how many that weren't successful had 4 attempts? This is crazy.
It is the most. Trump. So this is what I was going to say. We didn't have the zingers in the press gallery dinner, but we had the zingers afterwards in the press conference, right? So. Later that evening, I watched a press conference. Trump was tired, obviously, and then he's still being Trump. But he went on to talk about how I have the most dangerous job in the world. He does. How many American presidents have there been? He's 47, but in all, there's been repeat by a whole bunch of them, right? So let's say, I don't know, don't quote me, but I bet you there's been less than 35 American presidents, maybe 32. And how many have been killed?
Donald Trump is 47.
I'm saying he's the 47th term president, right? But he did 2 terms, right? So how many?
You get 1 designation unless your terms are broken up by another president in between. So he's 45 and 47, but what was it? Obama was 44. And
so there's been literally 47 different presidents then? 47 humans have held that seat?
There's only a few rare occasions where a president was broken up into 2 separate terms.
Okay, cool. Okay, so basically, let's say there's been 43,
44.
let's say.
Yeah,
44.
Around, yeah.
And 4 have been killed. So it's like that's a 10% rate. Like that's worse than helicopter door gunners in Vietnam. Like it's a pretty bad ratio.
And some have survived assassination attempts. I mean,
right, Reagan and yeah.
So that's a dangerous job. Absolutely.
Dangerous job. Sure. Yeah.
And he made a great point, though. It's only the ones that really affect any change are the ones that have a dangerous position. I mean, Obama ran on change, and then he came in with the status quo. I mean, he was exactly the opposite of what he ran to be. And yeah, it was very disappointing, obviously. But nobody was trying to kill the guy. That's the difference. Where Donald Trump was saying, the people who were assassinated who were actually making a big deal. Was it McKinley that he talks about, the guy with the tariffs that he's like followed the lead on? He was assassinated, and many others. They tried to go after Reagan. He was revolutionary. He was pushing big things. The guy who brought the Emancipation Proclamation, freed the slaves, Lincoln, assassinated. Albeit a lot of them by lefties. It's just absolutely insane. And it's really what it's done is it's solidified to a lot of us in modern times in contemporary politics is that it seems to always be on the left. They
were definitely left of the president, right? I mean, they were left of the president because some of those presidents were pretty. Were a bit farther to the right, I would say, but they got assassinated by somebody left of them. So yeah, always. And we've never had a political we've never had a prime minister assassinated in our country, I don't think. No, we've never.
We didn't mention Kennedy. Yeah, Kennedy was on the left, but he was
on the left.
I mean, right of current contemporary.
Totally.
I mean, most people would not even identify Kennedy with the Democrat Party today, including his own family, which is incredible.
Yeah. No, so I mean, where do we go from there? I think actually we should.
The president got a guest right after.
That's where I wanted to go. I think that to me that was the most fascinating story this week. I mean, sure, I like budgets and stuff like that, and we'll talk about that. But I watched the highlights of the Trump or the King's visit, and to me, it told an amazing story. I mean, first of all, show a clip or show a picture. Like Donald is savage, right? I mean, Donald invites the King Charles to come visit, and he decorates the front lawn of the White House. He makes the security guards or whatever, the soldiers, dress in period uniform. Like, I thought that's awesome. Like, that is so freaking awesome. You know, like, hey, check out what I can do, right? Like, you're the king, but I'm the president. And then these are the guys that defeated you 200 years ago, which is worth reminding everyone, right? This year is the 200.
The founding fathers there, by the way. So
yeah.
I'm not sure who that is in there. It was a Revolutionary War soldiers. And then you have Benjamin Franklin right there.
Yeah. So this year is 250 anniversary, right? Like on July 4th this year is 250 years since the Americans kicked out George III and defeated him properly and sent him packing and passed their own constitution and everything else. So it's an important year for the Americans. So the king coming to visit, that's nice. And the king, wait
1 second before we move on from that, because you're going to have a lot of people in the comments saying, okay, well, how is it that, you know, Trump shows the Revolutionary Guard in this situation to the king, and that's okay, but what Carney did by showing a War of 1812 figurine in his speech about trade relations with the United States being over, why was that not okay?
Yeah, well, quite a bit to unpack there. So, okay, let's go back. Let's just do a 1 year history lesson, right? So last year, almost a year ago, just over a year ago, Carney got elected, and a year late and got elected under what was the big reason Carney got elected? Because Trump was making these crazy statements that I'm going to invade you guys, I'm going to take you over economically. And then our whole country flipped on its head and realized, oh, we need to protect ourselves from Trump. And Carney was the best guy to protect us, right? And so the liberals rode that wave all the way through, that we're going to defeat Trump. And it's been a year of nothing, right? I mean, what has Trump done to us? He's imposed tariffs. It's a wake-up call, but
really hasn't done much. Let's just be honest. What's been done economically to other countries has been actually much more heavy. Right. It hasn't been devastating, though, because Canada was one of these countries that ran so much trade protectionism, and that's the gripe. And Canada really needs to revolutionize its economy to conform to actual free trade. Instead, we've got this non-reciprocal trade racket. We've been talking about this forever.
Yeah. So let me just finish my quick history lesson, right? So Trump or Carney gets elected, and then what happens a month later after Carney gets elected, right? He invites the King Charles comes to Ottawa to read the throne speech.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay? And why? And this is beautiful, right? King Charles has to sit in the Senate because he's not a commoner. He can't go in the House of Commons, so he pretends to be a commoner, sits in the Senate, reads the throne speech, does a land acknowledgement, which is over the top bullshit. But why did Carney bring the king, right? What was the underlying message at the time? We were trying to send a message to the Americans, more importantly to the public, to our own, to Carney is like, we are a sovereign nation. I always thought the idea of bringing the king to emphasize that we're our own independent nation.
That doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense, but it resonated with the voters. They're like, yay, 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 right? So then you fast forward a year later, Carney is still trying to desperately hang on to that. Like, we're going to be the best economy in the G7. We're going to start the new world order. We're going to lead the new world order, blah, blah, blah. And we're done with the Americans. They were our greatest partner for 250 years, but now we're done with the Americans.
The League of Middle Powers, as he said in Davos. What an
idiot. And then you have yesterday or this week where the king now goes to the US, gets sort of paraded by Trump, and I mean, there were some savage moments, right? Like when the king is doing the line where they're supposed to shake hands, did you see Trump? He just bumped in front of him and started shaking hands and like literally pushed the king aside.
The most insulting one, though, I found was this moment here. This is the most savage moment, and it turns out that this didn't seem like a lot, right? This didn't seem like a lot. Trump had a B. He shows a B to the king, Well,
Yeah.
it turns out in European fashion, in English fashion, there's a lot of significance to showing people the hive at a house. So when you bring people in and you show somebody the hive, you're showing people who runs the household.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the significance of it. So he brings the king to show him this area, and a bee lands on his hand. He shows it to the king, and it's basically like, I'm the boss now, bitch. Like,
Yeah. Basically, no. That's a. And then the king came bearing gifts. The king gave Trump a bell from the boat, right? Like it was so beautiful, but I mean, it was almost, people say they were equals. I mean, sure, they're,
there was
how
one
do
gift
you
that I wish actually was true. This is parody, but I got to share it with you. This is the Babylon Bee saying Trump presents King Charles with an autographed copy of the Declaration of Independence. These guys are way too funny, man. That's killer.
yeah.
Oh, if only that was true.
Yeah. So, but anyways, at the end of the day, Trump did his thing. I think the king was a little bit more. The king showed a lot of restraint and couth, but the king has to be somewhat diplomatic. But he was also there to make sure, he was sent on behalf of Starmer to make sure that the relationship is okay. When the king is sent to the U.S., which has happened 4 or 5 times in the past, it's just a symbolic show to make sure. The king repeated it. We've been allies for 250 years. Everything else, like what the king did, is what Trump should, or what Carney should be doing. So, I mean,
I'm not absolutely convinced though that the king is some just figurative head.
No. I mean, he has clout. I mean,
not only that. I mean, he's got full access to all secretive material. He has full access to all of this stuff, family, stuff, the things that he probably knows that no commoner knows. He's well entrenched in the system, and yeah, he knows what the plan is for the future. The Queen was the same way. She was briefed on. I don't know about King Charles, but the Queen was briefed every single morning on all intelligence that went on.
I'm sure that goes on. Yeah.
Well aware of what's going on and calling shots. So, you have a parliamentary system, which I believe was actually designed to kind of keep you from becoming independent. And that's why it was passed on to all of these other nations that were former British colonies, what have you. They have the same system because they don't want them to ever become independent. They keep the power structures concentrated in one direction and always answering to the royalty, and it always has that foot on to the royalty. So I don't think it's just a signatory role that they come in.
No. I wasn't saying that, but I mean, it's definitely not the same as the Prime Minister of England coming, right? But yeah, it's an important event. But at the end of the day, I think Trump scored some good points. The king scored a few good points. I mean, he makes sure that the king's pragmatic in this sense. He's like, we can't piss off the Americans. He knows that you cannot piss off the Americans. Mm-hmm. And I wish Carney would learn that. Like, you cannot piss off the Americans. You can saber rattle all you want and be rah, 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 and put your little figurine on the desk. But at the end of the day, we're not going to tell the Americans what to do, and we need to be careful. There's a nice symbolic pushback, but at some point the pushback is enough. I mean, and Trump could go, here's what I think of your figurine, like, punk, gone, right? And like, so
and that's exactly what it was. So like, some of us got annoyed by it. I was annoyed by it because I've always dealt with Canada-US relations, that kind of thing. But I just want to get one actual extra point to what you're saying there. And this is actually one of the arguments way back in the day of why a monarch might actually be a better system than representative democracy. And I'm not arguing for monarchy. Don't get me wrong on this. But the argument for it was, in representative government, the people are transient in their positions, and they could screw everything up and they just get to walk away, where a king actually owns it and intends to pass it down onto his next of kin, that kind of thing. So there's equity there that they wouldn't want to sabotage trade relations, for example, with another country. So despite the rocky history with the U.S. and Britain because of where the origins of the U.S. and the U.S. Constitution, Declaration of Independence. Yeah, it's much more pragmatic for the king to, as you said, be more diplomatic and come to the table. Whereas Carney, he doesn't need to. He'll make his billions of dollars with his crony contracts, ruin the country, and walk away a millionaire, go zillionaire. You know what I mean? Like he'll be totally fine while everyone else is left holding the bag. And that is a real shitty scenario for
yeah. Now, before we move on, did Trump and the king sort of come to any kind of agreements? Like there must have been. I mean, was the visit purely just symbolic and friendly and just making sure the relations are okay? I think that's all it was, right? Like there's no. The king wouldn't have the authority to sign major deals or anything like that. I mean, it's a diplomatic mission, is what it was.
Absolutely. I think it was a diplomatic mission. There was no like agenda there, but the king came in to address the nation. He threw in some, underlying like digs at the direction that Trump's going in. But I mean, that's to be expected, right? He wants to convince the American people to maybe go in a more favorable position for England or Great Britain. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's his job, right? So blame him for it.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed watching it, and then I was talking about it with people, and it was apparent to the folks that I was talking to that it didn't make much media here in Canada, right? There's a few little tidbits, but I think the media purposely didn't want to show it because it was a bit of a slap in the face to Carney to have the king of our Commonwealth going and sucking up to the Americans while we're being so aggressive. I mean, it's
especially with the 1812 references.
Yeah,
like that 1812 references during the 250 year anniversary, and that little figure. I mean, it annoyed me all to hell. But let me tell you,
the king mentioned it though, right? The king mentioned it, but the king didn't say 1812. The king said 1813. No, Trump mentioned the 1813. So Trump is like, you might have won 1812, but then a year later in 1813, everything went back to normal. And so, Trump won up on that one. Tried to.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Again, people don't know history. I tried to explain this last week, but when people say that Canada says that it was an aggressive war from the United States to gain territory, no, their main grievances were sailors being abducted and then conscripted into military roles and sent overseas. Like these were the main gripes. They were entering American waters. They wanted sovereign rights, and the British were also trying to drum up the Indians in North America to start a war against the United States. So like those were the main gripes. And after the War of 1812, those all ended. So I think America walked away the victor in that sort of endeavor.
We didn't gain territory, no borders changed, nothing like that. I mean, it's just
that was it.
Yeah, and super cool. But what's that?
And it wasn't Canada; it was British territory at the time, and that's the other thing that a lot of people forget. But that's crazy. And here, all this time later. Politics go on and they are what they are, but there's, Donald Trump is making some tremendous strides right now. There's a lot of people
actually just before you go to that next step, I know you probably have the clip sitting here. Just play the feel good clip, like the Americans finishing our national anthem for us in Buffalo. Do you have that clip?
I do.
Again, I just want to, I want to spread a little bit, there you go. I mean, I think everybody knows the tradition here during a hockey game, both anthems are played, and in typical fashion, we brag about finishing their anthems. The Americans are capable of finishing our anthem. This was at the game, I think, on Monday.
Yeah, this was amazing. I commented saying Americans once showing again that they're not petty like their neighbors to the north. Meanwhile, Canadians are still booing the Star Spangled Banner. Here's the scene as the mic cuts out from the singer.
Oh, Canada, our home and native, hatred, love, and with glowing we see such a strong and
Listen to how it gets louder and
from
louder as it goes on.
far and wide, okay, and on God. Keep on glory.
Yeah, so it was just a nice touching moment. I mean, we've done it to them in the past, they've done it to us, but I think it's really appropriate and cool that they did it this week, right? And yeah, shame on us when we boo their anthem. I would never boo an anthem anyways. I mean, that's just, it's an anthem, man. Like, it's the other country's anthem. Why would I ever boo that? I'm just not of that kind of spirit. But yeah, that was nice to see. Can you sing?
Because it just shows like Americans don't have the animus towards Canada that Canadians have towards the United States. And I really wish Canadians could just drop it. I keep having to say this. I've been dealing with this my entire life as a dual citizen. When people find out that I'm American on the Canadian side, you just get treated differently. And it's ridiculous. And like, I'm not going to start crying like it's some sort of weird prejudice, but it's just a bias that people have, and it sucks. It sucks. And for once, I think Canadians should drop it. They should really drop it.
I think we're getting close to dropping it. I think there's a certain awakening again that's happening in Canada. You know, people are like, Carney's not getting the same kind of pass that he was getting a year ago. I mean, it's been a year. Like, all week long, there's been some super critical things, right? Like, he released his mini budget this week, and he got lambasted by that. Even like Andrew Coyne and Rosemary Barton and a whole bunch of people, they're barely able to be cheering for it anymore. And yeah, I mean,
to the tune of billions of dollars to do so. Yeah, they're struggling. They're absolutely struggling. Andrew Coyne, who's supposed to be the conservative guy pundit, actually has some backlash for Carney. It's unbelievable, and it's great. It's refreshing to see, but it's all too little, too late. That's kind of where I'm standing on this. It's like, well, what are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna call for an election? No, he's got a majority now. Like,
yeah, I got almost excited today. I thought he lost another MP today, but it turned out he didn't, right? What's his name? Wilkinson. Wilkinson used to be an MP until 2025. And so I didn't realize that Wilkinson didn't run again in 2025. But Carney announced today more diplomatic appointments. And then I saw Wilkinson's name. I'm like, holy shit. Wilkinson's being appointed as senator or as ambassador. So I thought, oh shit, he just lost his majority. But no, Wilkinson had already. But I think he will lose his majority that way in the coming 6 months, right? There are still people. There's lots of people that were promised stuff by Trudeau and others. You know what I mean? So I don't know who they are, but there's a few people. You know, like there's a few MPs now that are getting tired, and they want their golden parachute. They want that fancier patronage they've been promised by Trudeau. So yeah.
Well, we'll see. Only time will tell on that one, because pay Ola to keep your seat and sit there and do it. I mean, that could definitely motivate some people to just continue on with that job. But also, a lot of those appointments or a lot of those seats are in Liberal ridings. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, win that riding?
Yeah.
If it went to a by-election, it would just go back to the Liberal majority anyway. This is the thing.
Yeah. Somebody asked an interesting question in the chat. Do you know the words? I think I know the words to both anthems. I'm sure you know the words to both anthems. I'm not surprised that any fan watching a hockey game would know the words to both anthems, especially somebody on the border like in Buffalo, where there would be routine games between Canadian and American teams. But I couldn't hear in that anthem if the Americans said, "In all thy son's command." I bet you they said, "In all thy son's command," right? Like,
it's stuck in your brain at a certain point. You can't change it. It's like it's
I
like,
still say in all thy sons command. If I'm at a hockey game and I'm singing out loud, those are the words that come out. And people say, well, those are they're not the right words. I'm like, no, those are the words I learned. They might have changed
right.
them since, but those are the words I learned. So
you can't, okay, you can't open up that can and change words in an anthem, or then every other day you're going to have a new word change. It either stays the original or you scrap the anthem. That's my opinion on that. So that's where it is. But you know, things aren't working out for Carney. Carney's not, you know, that budget that you're talking about, but then he also had this what is it, the sovereign debt fund that he's just
the sovereign wealth fund. Oh my lord. This, like, yeah, he got lambasted for that. Like, people literally laughed at that, because there's about 4 nations on earth that have proper sovereign wealth funds, right? Norway, Abu Dhabi, or the United Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Alberta used to have a small one. We call it the Heritage Fund. But those are funds. Let's talk about the Norway one specifically. Norway is the nicest example, right? Norway made extra money from its oil revenue over the years. So, and every year when it had a little extra, it put it aside in a fund for future generations and to broaden its economy and to invest outside, blah, blah, blah. And so the sovereign wealth of the Norway is like one that's quoted at about worth being $2 trillion. That's fantastic. Good for you, Norway.
Yeah.
What's our sovereign fund? It's basically a mutual fund. Like, it's basically seed money. Like, Carney was basically promoting, hey, I'm going to start a sovereign wealth fund, but I'm going to put the first $25 billion in there. And then everybody's like, where are you going to get the $25 billion, dude? We're $1.8 trillion in debt. And
he's
so
gonna borrow.
He's going to borrow it. Yeah. He's not even going to borrow it. I don't like, it's just going to be, yeah. And by the way,
Canada, he's a banker. He knows how this works.
well,
So,
by the way, Google it and bring it up, right? Bring the Canada Infrastructure Bank, the CIB. Like, just land on their page and show that to the viewers, the Canada Infrastructure Bank. And land on that page just for 2 seconds.
doing my fastest navigation that I can do at the moment. There we go.
There it is. There's
learn more. We care about your privacy. Okay, agreed.
Yeah, there. We are an impact investor developing the next generation of infrastructure, blah, 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 blah. The Canada leave it at that moment. So this is identical to what Carney's proposing, and the Liberals implemented this in 2017. So it's an investment fund that they seeded. They put money in there, and look at how it's performed. So they've spent $54.6 billion on capital projects, and now it's worth $18 billion.
Total
and so the fund
lost.
Yeah, the fund already exists. And what Carney's proposing is just this, and we'll sort of forget about this one, and we'll rebrand a new one. And they're investing in exactly the same kind of things. And the things they're investing in, sure, they're cute and they're fun. We need them. They're whatever. But basically, they're not money making things. There are things that will help the economy, but you can't. Anyways, it's
That's
like
unreal.
It's complete rebranding of something that exists, and it's something that exists that's a bad idea. Except the new version now will be probably managed by Brookfield.
Oh wow! So that $64 billion, the $54 billion loss will just go into admin costs for Brookfield. Oh man, that is such. Oh wow! People are getting hosed.
No, we're being hosed. I mean, and then this week, like, they were walking around on Monday, like, oh, we got good news, right? This spring economic statement, and their biggest news in that spring economic statement was that, hey, remember last year we told you the deficit would be 77 billion, which is like double what Trudeau ever did. So Carney's first budget, he predicted a $77 billion deficit. His deficit now, he's like, hey, good news, folks, it's only 66 billion. Oh, wow. So you had an entire year to come up with a budget, and you missed your target. You're over the target, but you're not as bad over the target as you like. There's nothing good about it. It's embarrassing to try and make this as a good news story. And it's even more embarrassing when you get to the truth of the matter. Why is the deficit, even though a deficit is terrible, right? It's a $66 billion deficit. There's no good news to a $66 billion deficit. But why is it 66 instead of 77? Because oil. Because the war in Iran, because of that, the federal government made extra money off the backs of Canadian oil producers.
Right. Because the price of
so
oil went up.
Carney's taking credit for that. Hey, our deficit's not as bad because thankfully oil bailed us out. Yeah, oil will always bail you out. I'm just going to move my lamp here. The sun went down the wrong way.
Went down the wrong way.
Well, I don't control the sun. I'd love to, but
but that's insane. Do you remember it was only like a year and a half ago where Chrystia Freeland basically stepped down from Trudeau's cabinet because she didn't want to announce that it was a $40 billion deficit because that number was so ridiculous, 40 billion, and now it's 60 what? 8?
It's 66 right now instead of 77, and they're like, we should be happy. It's only 66. I'm like, oh my god. And then even like like I told you, people know this of me, right? I'm one of those weirdos. I like diving into these budgets and exploring them and graphing them. Yeah. I can't even be bothered with this one at this point. There's no good news in it. Like, what else do I tell you? Like there's no repayment plan for the debt. So they're forecasting deficits of 60 billion plus for the next 5 years. So Carney has no plan of balancing the budgets. The debt goes from 1.8 to 1.9 to $2 trillion. Mm-hmm. And the interest on the debt, that's the scariest one. The interest on the debt is over 60 billion this year and is forecasted to almost hit $100 billion. So in future budgets,
you cannot sustain that. It's just, that's not happening.
I mean, if you want a return on our investment, forget about investing in infrastructure at this point, pay off some debt. Like, yeah. That'd be like, I can't even make the analogy anymore. It's literally like,
you're supposed to stop the bleeding when there's a cut. You know what I mean? It's unreal.
We need to cut his credit card, right? He's got too many credit cards. They're using, like, when you read the budget and you see what's happening, he's using one credit card to borrow money just to pay the interest on the money that's owed. Like, it's just crazy.
That's unreal. So Mark Nixon, he put this one out there. He says Canada debt trajectory is now worst in the worst in the G7. In just 10 years, Canada added 25.23% to its gross debt to GDP ratio. Yeah, you can fix the light.
I don't know which way I need to go or what I need to do or why I gotta.
I'm not sure. It's like the sun is just nailing right into.
Tell you what, maybe I'll change my camera a little bit and then.
Oh yeah, you got a lens flare going on.
Give me a second. That's what it is. So holy shit.
Yeah, Marty's got like a Michael Bay movie going on with all the lens flares.
I know what to do. I'll go close the door. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, okay. Show this graph again. This is unreal. So yeah, here we are. This is from the Fraser Institute. This graph overall, there's this overall change in general government.
Sorry about that, folks.
So this is the overall general government gross debt as a share of GDP from 2014 to 2024. So this doesn't even include what they've done in 2025. And Canada is like.
And whose graph is this? This is Mark's or somebody else's?
Mark made this and the
okay, good. Yeah, because Mark is good at making sure that, like, again, most people need to understand this. We talked about this a little bit last year during the budget. When they did the budget, they did one new freaking bullshit thing, right? They're now reporting debt to GDP, but they're using a term called net debt, right? And so they're decreasing our debt by adding the CPP fund, the Canada Pension Plan. They're counting that in their assets to reduce their debt. And everybody's like, the last parliamentary budget officer said you can't do that. And even Andrew Coyne now is saying you can't do that. Chantal Hébert, everybody's saying you can't do that. And they keep doing it. So I'm pretty sure Mark properly reported the data there. Like, we suck, man. We're in trouble. We're in deep trouble.
And this is why they want to keep shutting down committees. Have you heard about this?
Oh,
they keep shutting down. Yeah. This is crazy. For this week now. Yep. For this week, they have these committees, and for people who don't know, committees are brought in so that the opposition and whoever can join in, and they can actually dig into what the government's doing, and actually have a look. Let's pop the hood and have a look at what's going on. How have you been handling this?
Let's look at ArriveCAN was an example, right? ArriveCAN is a big kerfuffle, so let's do a little committee and let's look into why this project got out of hand. You can't. Committees used to be. I always said that you couldn't lie in the courts. Sorry, let me go. I used to say that you couldn't lie in the House of Commons, but over time that became a joke. The House of Commons people lie. And then the next best place where people didn't lie was the committee. Until the longest time, you sort of couldn't, you'd get in a lot of trouble if you lied in committee. Now what they do is when they control a committee, it's just procedural. They'll bring in some witness who wants to give the scoop on, let's say, ArriveCAN. Like they'll bring in a guy who knows what's happening. And then the Liberals will go point of order, and that
out, and then that's it.
Done.
Get stymied. Now they've got a new technique they've just started doing, and that's it. They just turn off the cameras.
Oh yeah, yeah, or the mics.
Turn off the cameras. Turn off the mics. Just end the committee. This is crazy. Table Salt was talking about this today. He put out this tweet saying, major breaking, Canadian government implements widespread publicity bans on its parliamentary committees. In lockstep, the chairs are using, what is this? The dilatory motions to shut down everything. This is only weeks after gaining a majority via traitorous floor crossing, as he says. This is total secrecy being implemented at the Science Committee today, which is investigating a concrete pad spaceport, the one that cost millions of dollars. It's basically
some of the memes on that one are spectacular, by the way.
And it's the craziest thing. They just shut it down. They just shut it down, and now there's no oversight. There's nothing. Basically, this government is able to just do what they want, and nobody's able to look into it. They can look into it in these committees, but they're all closed door meetings where they're not even allowed to talk about this stuff. It's not open to the public. There's no transcript. There's nothing. We're screwed.
And so the last bastion that's supposed to help in this is the media is supposed to be able to have full scrutiny of this kind of stuff, like take the budget and tear it apart. And we can barely do that. Like I said, the budgeting cycle, as an example, is so messed up. Like this is the beginning. April 1st is when the 2026-2027 budget year starts. So we should be thinking of a new budget right now. But the budget from last year was 6 months late. It came in November. It came 6 months late only because we forced him. Remember, Carney gets elected. It's like, oh, I don't have time to do a budget right now. It's like, your government's been in power. You haven't been in power, but your government's been in power for a decade. Like, there's no excuse, right? There should have been continuity. Even though we just had an election, it's not like we changed government. Carney should have published a budget in May. He didn't want to. He dragged his feet, and finally he was kind of forced to do it after Freeland resigned and a few others. And so he finally did his budget in November, which is 7 months late. And now we should be doing the new budget, and it's all messed up. It's all messed up, and nobody's batting an eye because they're getting away with murder.
Absolutely.
Like,
they're stopping anybody's ability to investigate into this at every stance. And it doesn't matter if it's federal government or some of the provincial governments. I mean, what was it just recently? Doug Ford made it. They just got rid of Freedom of Information Act.
Oh God,
crazy!
I forgot about that one. Yes,
Doug Ford says his cell phone records must remain hidden to protect people's privacy, and he says like, "Oh well, it's because I get all these phone calls from people, and they don't want their names on the Freedom of Information request, and then their address and maybe their personal details." Let me tell you what, that's all redacted anyway. So when you call for a Freedom of Information request and they see people's, regular citizens, not government officials, people's names, numbers, addresses, stuff, they redact that. You're not going to get that on the final draft. This is what you pay the money for them to actually go through it, redact that stuff, and then you get it. That's what the money's supposed to pay for. people's privacy. This is about Doug Ford's privacy when he's talking to officials from the CCP or gangsters.
And it's not just government that does this, right? Like I had to do this in the private sector. Like in two of my roles were senior roles. Like I was an executive in 2 oil corporations, right? And when I first got into that role, then there's the corporate secretary who came to my office one day and gave me the rundown of, this is how we run board meetings and things like that. Oh, and by the way, going forward from this day on, you can't just delete emails. I'm like, what do you mean I can't just delete emails? Like, nope, your emails are part of the company's records and you need to, you don't delete them and we'll back them up for you and put it on a hard drive, blah, blah, blah. And I felt a little bit invaded, but I'm like, yeah, that's the law. And I work for a corporation. I chose to work for this corporation and this corporation pays me. And what I do is their business. They're allowed to know and the shareholders are allowed to know.
They want to know if you have emails chatting with the other businesses and getting kickbacks for making decisions.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is for kickback. Some of it is to protect myself, whatever. I mean, it's there for a purpose, right? And then the answer, and if I said, well, I don't like that, then they could legitimately say, well, what are you trying to hide? Anyways, I complied. I think that's even more important in government. Yes. Because they got bigger budgets, more money, and way more leverage. I mean, yeah, if I make a shitty deal, I'm affecting my shareholders who voluntarily chose to buy my company, but I didn't voluntarily choose the Liberals, so I'm giving them a lot of power, and they have a shit ton of power. And yeah, what Ford did this week, that's scary. It's very scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I'm going to keep what I do secret. Wow. I mean, it's already bad enough. Like we know they're not telling us anything, right? Like, now can you imagine the secrets? Oh my Lord. Yeah, no, not happy about that one. But I don't live in Ontario, thankfully. So but it sets a precedent, right? Once one province does it, then the other province goes, oh, well, we should do it too, and, I hated those when I worked in the private sector, those freedom of information. We were same thing. We're bound by those rules, right? Like, if I'm whatever, they're allowed to get a hold of my drilling program. Like they want to see what we're doing. And so you keep that in mind. It keeps you honest. That's what it's designed for. It keeps you totally honest.
You have to comply. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. What was Ford's excuse? Like what could possibly his excuse be for not wanting to fall under the Freedom of Information Act?
Well, let's have a listen to what he had to say. Here's a clip of him making excuses for it. Doug Ford claims the FOI changes that he had added. Okay, let's let him speak for himself. This is from CBC Watcher. Thanks for putting this up, my man.
Okay, I have a question about the FOI changes. I understand they will be included in the budget bill this week. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty controversial measure. Why do you lump it in with a budget bill? And what would you respond to critics about that?
Well, let me tell you something. It's only controversial with two groups, the media and with the opposition. Folks, this is nothing new. We are pulling a rabbit out of our hat. All other provinces are doing exactly what we're doing. The federal government has been doing it for years. 95%, I'm going to repeat this, 95% is FOIable. So that will keep you folks happy. The other 5%,
is backdoor deals and bullshit like that.
Yeah, and
it's so crazy.
And by the way,
it's not about the 95% we're worried about. It's that 5% that you're ripping us all off. That's what we're worried about.
And even the 95% that is supposedly accessible under Freedom of Information Act, try it, right? Yeah. Just try it. It's so freaking I mean, I tried it desperately during COVID. When I tried to get from the government of Alberta, I knew they had the statistics on how they sorted out injuries based on the vaccination status of people, right? I knew that, and I tried to get that information, and boy, you get something that's completely redacted and a letter that always says, "Oh, it's not in the public interest," right? Like it's almost impossible to get it anyways. And so he's made it harder. Yeah, that's bullshit, Doug. Like you could still get 95% of the data. Well, it's the last 5 I want, Doug. Sorry, but
only the 5 that we want.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. It's like 95% of your day is not ripping us off, Doug. So that's
Look the other way while I do this. Sure, Doug. Sure.
It's insane. But we can't go this whole show without talking about the main topic, and that's Alberta separation, where that's going.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll talk into the next portion of the show. But what do you want to know? What do we want to talk about? Let's talk.
So what I want to know is what went on. So you weren't on the show yesterday because you went to Edmonton to speak in front of a crowd of people. You've been doing this for a while now. You've been canvassing and then also doing speeches and events to promote Alberta prosperity, Alberta independence, a move for the province of Alberta to separate itself from the rest of Canada and become its own country and a sovereign nation. And
so I'll pick it up from there. So I'm not a member of the Alberta Prosperity Group. I'm not a member of Stay Free Alberta. I'm not a member of the Centurion Project. I'm not even a member. I'm only a member of one political party. That's the United Conservative Party. I do have a Liberal membership, but we all know that's a joke, right? So, and I've been canvassing as a private citizen and promoting independence as a private citizen, and I do get invited to events. I lend my voice because I have a I make a compelling argument. And phase 1 of collecting signatures is coming to an end. It's really officially coming to an end on Monday. So on Monday morning, or this coming Monday, Mitch Sylvester will go and deposit the signatures with Elections Alberta, and they're going to count them. They can't count them. That's a whole other complicated story, right? Because of the First Nations taking Stay Free Alberta to court, the judge has stayed. While the judge ponders all of what this means, the judge won't allow Elections Alberta to count. Okay, fine. So that's there. So now I'm already starting to think about, there's lots of groups starting to think about the next phase, which is there might be a referendum on independence, and we got to start gearing up for the campaign. And I started lending my voice to a group called the Centurion Project, which the founder of that is David Parker and other guys, right? So I'm not a founder of the Centurion Project, but I am lending my voice because when they showed it to me and what they were trying to do, I thought, okay, this is pretty interesting. This is cool. You're building the next generation of campaign people. And so I went to an event last night where I was on stage talking about my speech to that is how I became a separatist and how I see the next phase happening. David talked about the Centurion Project and other people. Jason Levine was there. So there's 4 of us on stage. But while I was on stage, there's a commotion. And I'm okay. I'll finish my thing, and then I got off. We carried on. We did questions, and then the evening ended up. And then I'm like, what was that commotion all about? And then you saw the video. So while I was on stage, 8 police cruisers showed up outside. And so this event is like almost in the countryside. It's a place called the Petroleum. It's kind of like a little museum, a little petroleum museum. Yeah, that's it's a little petroleum museum where we had the event. They rent the hall. They're friendly to independence, and they rented us the hall. And this little hall is a little bit out of the way, southwest of Calgary, of Edmonton.
It sounds small enough that you probably wouldn't see 2 cruisers at a Tim Hortons kind of thing.
No. And so these cars had to go way out of their way to find this. But it turns out these 8 cruisers showed up, and at the core, somebody from Elections Alberta showed up to serve papers to basically the Centurion Project. The guy showed up with a cease and desist. I didn't see the documents, okay? So I don't know, but apparently the Elections Alberta showed up with a cease and desist letter. So basically he's serving the Centurion Project there. But he's escorted by 8 cruisers and police officers. That's
bonkers. What is the point of that? For a piece of paper?
I have no idea. And they served the paper and then they left. And they served while we were on. They didn't come inside. They didn't even come in the building. They didn't even stop the event. They did nothing. They literally served the papers. So there's a couple of things that I guess I can talk. But the first one is, to me, the fact that Elections Alberta somehow or other, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Their investigation's legit. That's fine. Their investigation's legit, which I kind of doubt, right? I mean, there's been so many shenanigans with any election group, whether it's Election BC, Election Alberta, Election Canada, but let's assume their investigation is legit. Somebody at Elections Alberta picks up the phone and calls the police chief and says, "Hey, I'm going to go serve papers. Can you send 8 cruisers my way to escort my guy?" Yeah, sure, we'll do that. No, that's not how it works, right? I mean, God, like normally, even if you're serving papers, normally, what do? You hire some guy to go that and taps you. He's like, "Are you Clyde Nichols?" Yeah, you've been served. Done, right? So the whole thing was bizarre from that standpoint. Then
it leads to the question, like, were the cops in on this? Like, because what else would trigger the police to do that unless they were
there's CBC stories that broke almost so instantaneously on this. That's like, oh, okay. So my take on this is somebody set this up, anyways. I think it's a bit of it's a combination of Elections Alberta perhaps doing their job, but definitely a shit ton of information being leaked to the right media, and then the police, the whole interaction. I mean, I'm fascinated by that. Now, at the end of the day, some of the allegations made do seem to be valid. I mean, like I saw what
desist over. What is that? The point of it?
Just stop doing what you're doing. So the Centurion Project is campaigning. It's campaigning for the next phase for the and so there's lots of groups that are going to start appearing. Oh God, I'm beginning to think that we as citizens, like that's my problem. As a citizen, the harder I try to hold my government accountable, the more the government throws its force at us, and I think that's what we're witnessing. I mean. The petition, like I've said it, we're petitioning under their rules, and everybody's like, "Oh, follow their rules." I'm like, my God, like I'm trying to exercise my civil right, but now I got to do it under their rule. Use their sheets. Only collect signatures during daylight hours. Make sure you use a blue pen, right? And you know, I've talked about this. I had people like, "Oh, Marty, like you're endangering the whole process because you're not using blue ink. You accepted a coffee." I'm like, do you understand that how this works? Like. The government will just keep changing rules. Like every time I comply, like the gun laws are a perfect example. Comply, and then they'll just keep changing the rules.
And they until they have all your guns. Yeah. And people that said, oh, it's they want all the guns. They're like, you're a conspiracy theorist. You get back into your cave with your tinfoil.
So for this, it's a bit of that. We're witnessing in real time. Everybody's like, just do the petition. And it's like, well, we signed the petition, and when they started feeling that we had too many petitions collected, the First Nations launched a lawsuit, and the judge put an injunction on it. Do you not see how that happened? And then the injunction might delay. The premier said if the judge doesn't rule before June 19th, then you guys won't have a referendum this year because it's too late. So that's another rule, right? Like you can't have a referendum within 1 year. There's a blackout period between 1 year after and 1 year before the election. So they're changing the rules. And then it's like, okay, we might win that injunction. So let's change the rules again. You guys started campaigning too early, and you're doing something that looks whatever, bad to us. And again, I'm not going to get into the details, but people need to awaken to what's happening. Some people are awake.
They have it on their website. Alleged inappropriate distribution of lists of electors, no breach of Elections Alberta database or systems. So they weren't hacked. This was, I guess, somebody who inappropriately gave off a list of things. But this is just alleged, right? This isn't an allegation.
It's all alleged. I mean, they have their evidence. I haven't seen all their evidence. I don't know what they're basing this. I mean, I'm honestly not privy to those letters and to what happened, but I can just say that as I observed it, but I've been on the ground observing this, like, as a citizen, I'm getting really concerned.
One group of many groups that make up Alberta independence. It's not like,
and David Parker somebody has a hard on for David Parker of the Centurion group because he's notorious. I mean, he had an involvement in getting perhaps Danielle elected and Jason Kenney elected and subsequently removed. And I'm just telling the viewers because I think most of our viewers know this. I mean, it is really cool when you're in it and you're watching it in slow motion and you see how we're getting hard, like attacked. And it's not a coincidence. Like I'm there and I'm like, wow, How come there's a camera crew from CTV here? Where'd they come from? Who advised them, right? So it's like it can only be like why are they there? Why are they there? Why are they an hour from downtown, 2 seconds behind the police? And you can say, oh, they're just listening on their scanners. Oh, wow. Of all this, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
and that was actually something that caught me off guard because, and I'll pop this open. And I actually noticed this while doing my video on the topic this morning. So the guy was commenting on this and saying this is crazy that there's so many cop cars. And then notice this.
Oilfield Technical Society. That's what we're seeing. And
you hear that? Who's that guy? The guy with the camera. And I don't know. I was just speculating on this, but it looked like he looked like mainstream media reporter. And he seemed to know to go to where the cop cars are at a particular time. If he was part of the event or in the event, it seemed very sus for the whole thing.
Well, I mean, at this point, this is how dirty it is. You know, listen, I've sort of done the same thing, right? I mean, I'm admitting it. I'm a member of the Liberal Party. And so they try hard to keep me out, but I show up at the Liberal event. But I'm not showing up, but I'm showing up to document what the Liberal event is doing. I'm not showing up to sabotage it and not showing up to whatever. I'm showing up to the Liberal event because I want to know what's going on during Carney's campaign. So it is possible to infiltrate movements or show up. And so we're learning that. We expected that, but maybe not to this level. There are definitely people who showed up who had bad intentions. It's easy, right? I mean, there's a poster that says, hey, especially the event's free. I mean, show up and we don't check IDs. We don't do that kind of stuff at these events that I've been at, right? Jason, I did a bunch of events with Jason Levine last month and it never, I guess I was still naive that way. I expected a few people once in a while to show up and ask me tough questions. That's cool. I mean, you show up and you want to ask me a tough question, but now I'm realizing, no, there's powers that be and we're scaring the shit out of a lot of people. Yeah. And that's what I want people to notice. That it's distracting because it's too bad because people are really focused on, you know, was the data used inappropriately or whatever. I'm sure it was or wasn't. I mean, that'll be determined, but that's only half the picture. People should be equally concerned. They should be concerned about the breach, if there was a breach of the data, and they should be concerned about the government's reaction. Like it's bonkers, right? Now I feel sorry for Kathy at the ostrich farm and stuff like that. I mean, we said it at the ostrich farm last year. We were witnessing it in real time. Like, and Tamara Litch, like, I mean, they're scared. Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. I got to calm myself down, but it is intimidating. It works. Okay, absolutely. So I'm on stage and I'm a pretty good guy. I've had lots of people come after me, and I go, you know what? I'm pretty tough, and I got a great circle of friends, but when you're in that very moment, you go like, am I really willing to be walked out of here in handcuffs? And I still trust that if I get walked out in handcuffs in this country, sure, I'm going to have a miserable 3 days in a cell, and I'm going to eat fucking, Hagar burgers that are 3 weeks old and stuff like that. I'm prepared for that, but I'm not quite prepared for the rest of the lawfare where the whole family gets dragged, like, and Tamara is witnessed, and the Coots 4. So they're succeeding, man. They got even a tough guy like me thinking twice now, like, wow, I'm putting myself out there.
Yes.
Like it's intimidating. It's working.
Marty, you're about to take the most wealthy part of the country and break it off from the rest
democratically.
Of it.
Yeah.
Yes, in a democratic way. And yes, they're terrified of it. They're absolutely terrified of it. And this is why I wanted to say, like, I actually want people in, because I'm a supporter from the sidelines, right? And I haven't pretended to be a part of Alberta prosperity or a part of this separatist movement, but I am a bystander standing on the sidelines going, I hope you get it. Like, come on, I'm rooting for you 100%. I'd love to see nothing but people, get liberty, right? This is a liberty movement, and that's what it's about. So I'm concerned about what's with the fight that you're about to hit, like the fight that is about to come to your doorstep, because it's real. Like this isn't some small thing. This is a massive wealth of a nation about to make a decision to leave that nation. And there are a lot of vested interests in keeping that there. And, you know, we all know the typical types. We know the socialists, and we know, you know, the crony capitalists and all of this other stuff. But, you know, we also need to understand that the Conservative Party of Canada has a vested, you don't have to hide it, Marty. They have a vested,
It's been a long day, folks.
well, cheers to that. But, you know, they have a vested interest. And I've been pointing this out over and over again. You know, there's the interview with Pierre Poilievre that he was just on Joe Rogan. And when the question came up, we got the typical response. Here it was.
Well, there was talk about Alberta separating.
That won't happen.
What was that about?
It won't happen.
Won't happen.
Some people are frustrated, but they, you know, there's some legitimate frustrations. But at the end of the day, Canada's going to be united. And Albertans, I'm born and raised Alberta, and Albertans are seriously patriotic. Canadians.
Very patriotic.
Yeah, they're great people, hardworking.
Some of the nicest people you ever.
They
run
are
across.
great people in
Hardy.
Alberta. They are a hardy people.
It's cold up there. They know how to survive.
Exactly. You got to be tough to survive the cold in
Yeah.
Canada. Carve a country like we have out of that cold weather on that big open land. But people just keep on going. And Alberta's got a real kind of rugged individualism.
Yes.
And
I mean, I remember
people
that
love
interview.
their-
That was a bit of a kick in the teeth when he said that, and you know, it's never going to happen. Like you could at least put up a little bit. You know, you don't need to jump into that, right? He could have eased into it and said, you know, I think it's going to be a hard fight for them, and blah blah. He could have rephrased it, but for him to just go, not going to happen. Wow.
Well, we can see why, though, and this is
Yeah.
what I've been pointing out for everyone to see. If this doesn't tell you right there that just look at Alberta. Absolutely, just look right here. This is the bluest place on the whole map. It is absolutely the bluest place on the whole map. Without Alberta, the federal conservative party is not. They're never getting power. They're never getting in. So yeah, it's his job to dismiss it and just say no. And I wouldn't be surprised if you would see people on that camp sabotaging the movement and doing what they can. So this is just like, heed my warning. You don't have to listen to me. Obviously, you guys are in the fight. You know what you're doing. But I just really want people to understand, know who is on your side on this and who is going to fight you on this, because people might cozy up with people who don't have your best interest in mind. I really, really hope you guys get it. And again, I'm rooting for you from the sidelines. But yeah.
Yeah, we know we have moles on the inside and stuff like that, all that good stuff. But I mean, for me, the bigger disappointment was how quickly some people got really scared, even today, and folded real quick. I know some people said, I'm out. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, you're out. That's fine. I mean, government wins again. You're out. And then I had to step away from X because I had a bunch of comments from people that were really starting to annoy me. I mean, somebody that I've been interacting with for a long, long time said, like, you need to stay squeaky clean, otherwise, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you don't get it. Like,
no, you don't get it. That's how the Conservatives lost the last election, and that's how you will lose an independence vote. You don't.
He said, like, he literally said squeaky clean, like Snow White, squeaky clean, because I'm like, no, they'll just change the goalposts on me, man. I'm not worried about that. Like, like I said, I collected signatures using the blue pen and writing clearly, and only doing it during daylight hours, and I verified everybody. And they'll just say, yeah, but you didn't, whatever. They'll come up with an excuse. Doesn't matter. They'll come up with an excuse if I get too close to winning, you know. So
absolutely. So you gotta double down on what the winning strategy is.
I mean, we lived it. As a gun owner, I can tell you exactly. It's like you need to go to the RCMP and get your permit and show that you're a citizen. Happy to do that. Okay, a year later, you need to take a safety course. I'll take the safety course. Okay, you need to sign on this bottom line that you will only use your firearms at the gun range. Did that. You need to walk around with this card and the conditions to buy ammunition. Did that. You can't shoot anyone with it. I thought that was implied. Doing it. And then what are they doing? Well, you can't have more than 5 rounds in your magazine. Fine, I'll stamp it. Oh, you can't just stamp it. You need it. You need a special kind of magazine. I'll do that. We complied with the gun law after gun law after gun law after gun law after gun law. What did that get us?
They still took them anyway. They're still
trying to take them, right? And so, folks, that's the point. Like, don't accuse me. Don't accuse. Like, you're telling me that I need to play by their rules, and I'm telling you that if you just keep playing by their rules, you'll never win because they will change the rules. They just keep changing the rules.
Yes. And this is why I take a totally different approach, because look at what's happening in the United States when it comes to gun laws right now. We're winning. We're winning. And that's the best part is, like they came at people, with the ban on suppressors. It wasn't a ban on suppressors. They didn't actually ban it. They just made a piece of legislation, short barrel rifles and suppressors way back in the 80s. They made a piece of legislation that you had to get a tax stamp if you wanted to purchase one of those things. So they tried to make it intentionally too expensive, price you out of the market. And the whole goal was to ban it. But recently, what did they do? And the only reason why that ever passed and it was ever allowable, because the Supreme Court saw it as a tax and not a regulation, because they can't regulate firearms, right? Because of the Second Amendment. And so what did they do? They made a tax, and then that's how they got their regulation in. Well, the big beautiful bill that just passed made the tax amount zero. So now, because there's no tax on suppressors and short barrel rifles, now it's unconstitutional because it doesn't have a tax. So now they're in the court. I love it. I love the direction that they're going.
Let's take some of these questions. We're like a whole hour behind on some of the questions. We got people that asked questions an hour ago.
Definitely get to that. All right, here we go. I just want one last thing. I did release a new shirt on the store, and I just wanted to advertise this. This one goes out to all the fellas in the Alberta Prosperity, all the fellas with Alberta Independence. It is the I Was Canadian shirt. So this is the new look. I hope everyone likes it. We've got two designs. We got that one, and we got this one.
I like that one
on there until I get a cease and desist. So we'll make those available for everybody.
Why would you get that? Because the color of the logo is a little too close to.
There are parody laws, so like it does look a lot like what Molson put out, but this is a parody. So if they told me, I might fight it and just say no, it's a parody of what your thing was. We saw how they did with the whole elbows up thing. They put out a whole new I Am Canadian advert thing. Whatever. We'll get into that another time. Let's have a look at these chats. Chris Haroon for $20. Thank you so much. Very generous. Says, so I signed up for separation, but even I know that it would take a decade or more to achieve such a goal. I feel the movement went too fast. We have many questions in front of us. What do you have to say to that, Marty?
Yeah, I agree. Fundamentally, we moved fast, or maybe we should have organized more secretly and then pull the trigger and then start moving better organized. But at the same time, we had to strike while Carney and the Liberals were doing what they're doing, because they're an awesome foe, right? I mean, there's sort of an opportunity there, and we're also worried that at some point the Liberals are going to change the rules, the Clarity Act and things like that. So, yeah, I agree. It's not ideal. I also agree it'll take a long time. That's the scary part. But yeah,
well, that is a scary part. I see it though that you guys are hitting it at the right time. Because and you're almost using Carney for Albertans the same way Carney used Trump for Eastern Canadian boomers, basically. That was the idea.
I mean, there's definitely parallels, although I would say Carney,
a lot more merit.
More merit. Like Carney's definitely hurting us for sure.
Absolutely. Let's get in Vancy Guy for 2 says BC for 51st. God bless our President Trump. Yeah, the whole 51st.
He must be an American then, Van City Guy, or maybe not.
Yeah, well, 51st state or
no, you guys we'll be 51st. You guys are gonna be 52nd.
I'll be in Texas. You guys figure it out in British Columbia.
Actually, then we might go back to 50 because Texas is going to leave. So then they'll be back down to 50 or whatever. Do you think Texas will ever leave?
Texas would leave if Trump's plan fails and we don't get Republican government moving forward. But that's all being thwarted, right? I wanted to get into this earlier, but it just didn't work out. This is crazy. The news that's coming out of the U.S. right now. Awesome news. Breaking. The Supreme Court just ruled 6-3 that drawing congressional districts based on race is unconstitutional. This screws the Democrats up, Marty.
Jesus, man. Okay, wow. This
absolutely screws the Democrats over.
But they were entertaining this?
Well, they had to. I mean, it was a Supreme Court case that they went to this. It went through all the courts. It got to the Supreme Court. That it's bullshit that they're gerrymandering on racial lines in districts. And like if you look at some of the gerrymandering, like just the shape of the districts, it's astronomical. And they're manufacturing areas that are basically they would never vote Democrat, or it would never be a majority Democrat if they didn't just do it on this like line. Of course, the Democrats are losing the black vote and the Hispanic vote.
That's the word that's being thrown around Alberta all the time right now is gerrymandering or mandering, because we are redrawing our electoral boundaries because we're going from 87 to 91, which I already think it's ridiculous. Like we should go backwards, right? Like 91 members of the Legislative Assembly. And yeah, there's some of that going on, right? I don't know. I mean, there's so many ways you could divide the province. You could literally just do it in squares and call it what it is, right?
Oh, Marty, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love exactly where this is going. So I'm gonna share this one. Breaking: the U.S. Supreme Court just has struck down a lower court's order which barred Texas from new congressional maps from going into effect. The map will likely result in 5 new Republicans in the U.S. House following the 2026 midterms. Supreme Court of the United States cited that their decision in 2025 opinion striking down a different legal challenge on the map. Democrats are running out of options. Now, have a listen to this.
Sean, what a big day this is for the GOP. As you point out, the High Court clearing the way for Texas's new congressional map that really could help the Republicans with perhaps as many as 5 more seats in the House come the midterm elections in 2026. Now, the High Court's unsigned order actually follows Texas's emergency request for the justices to pause a 3-judge panel's ruling, which previously tried to block the state's recently redrawn map. Now, in its decision to side with Texas, the High Court said that panel failed to honor the presumption of legislative good faith by construing ambiguous, direct, and circumstantial evidence against the legislature. The High Court also found that given the release of the panel's ruling right smack dab in the middle of Texas's candidate filing period, the lower court had improperly inserted itself into an active primary campaign, causing much confusion and upsetting the very delicate federal state.
So there's some technical stuff that's going on there, but I really want to point one thing out. You remember last week you were telling me about how in Alberta they're trying to do the district lines based on the center of the city and then move
pies going outwards as pies.
That is exactly what they've done in Texas, and it's freaking beautiful, Marty.
No, because when it's just the cities, then the cities end up being these huge masses of like gravity of one side, right? Whether it's Democrat or liberals. And so when you do these slices going out, then it dilutes them quite a bit. And and of course, one side, I mean, I'm not going to argue this. All I want to point out is it's interesting to see that this is going on in the US and everywhere in the world. And again, folks, this is a symptom. The people want to get into power for the sake of power. Like it's obvious at this point. It's not, hey, what's the best way to represent the people? You don't hear that language, right? Like, how do we best represent the people? You don't hear some guy going like, I need to talk to my people and therefore I need the district to be this way because it's convenient for traveling. No. It has nothing to do with that. They're literally slicing them up based on demographics and they're thinking about power. Like it's so, and our governments across the nation, the world, are becoming so big that they're the temptation to get into government just because people want to get into government just because it's so lucrative. It's like, I mean, I'm at that point so many days. Like,
oh, Marty, this has been since the days of the Senate in Athens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
About this, and this is what was so amazing about the founders of the United States Constitution and what they envisioned in the future. They understood the fallibility of humanity and people striving just for power and what they would do with it, and they understood that, and the whole concept is what's led to today. And the reason why we can have these winning battles is because the foundation was set 250 years ago. It's such a beautiful thing to watch happen.
Oh, it is. We've said it a million times. It's a beautiful document. It's I actually saw a little video that explained it even better than I had ever thought of it. Like, the republic is different than a democracy. It's slightly different. I mean, the republic is the people. The republic is basically saying we need a government just because it's a necessary evil, and therefore, since a government is a necessary evil, we need something to set a few guidelines. But let's keep it as small as possible, and let's make sure that the power is always in the people. The republic's brilliant. It's so brilliant, so brilliant.
Oh, by the way, it's not just Texas; they're doing it in Florida too.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I always get confused by the damn colors in the U.S. Right? I made the mistake the other day, a little while ago, on a post on X. Like, their colors are reversed, right? I'm so used to there we're supposed to cheer red, but that's so hard for me to cheer red because in our country, red is bad.
Yeah. Red is bad. Red is bad. Yeah. Yeah. That's just that. Yeah. I'm fine with it. We got Chris Haroon for 2 says, what happened to the No Kings protests in Canada? What happened to the No Kings protests in America, by the way? They got the king and they stood up. Trump even made a joke about it. He said, I can't get the Democrats to stand up. I don't know how you did it, King Charles.
The news cycle is so fast. The collective memory is so short, right? Like, it's crazy how people forget events. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, we had the king here. We paraded the king. We brought the king. Carney brought the king and made the king read the throne speech. And it was all symbolic. It was such a show. Like, hey, look at us. We're sovereign, and Trump can never take us over because we're sovereign. Whatever that means.
We don't have kings. Yeah, you do. You do.
Yeah.
You literally do.
You literally swear an allegiance to him. I mean, I don't have a coin in front of me, but his picture's on our coins. Like, God. Yeah.
I've got one. It's the Queen, but it's it's on there. We got one from Alberta, Nan for Independence, member for 10 months. Thank you so much.
Oh, Nan. I know Nan. Yeah.
You know her? Okay.
Yeah,
she says Canadian envy of America will be their downfall. I totally agree. I'm totally with you on that one. I've been just listening to it for far too long. I'm sick of it. I'm glad I'm gonna be in the South because I won't have to hear that so frequently. I hear it a lot, just like on the daily, because I live in British Columbia. It's just nasty, but yeah, it'll be good. And that's happening very soon. I'm a conservative boomer, aka Trish Brew. Thank you so much. Member for 41 months. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. That's wow, right? Time flew. I watched a video I watched a video on the history of the U.S. national anthem, and it was very touching. The anthem came because of the War of 1812. Hi, Clyde and Marty. Hi, Trish.
Hi, Trish.
Thanks so much for that.
Yeah, it was a newspaper article, right? It was just somebody witnessed a battle, and then the next day they wrote, and the ramparts were glowing and blah, blah. It was basically a newspaper story. Somebody wrote a story about witnessing the battle and wrote it sort of in prose, and then it became the anthem. In fact, I like the American anthem. Not going to lie. I mean, the Canadian anthem is pretty good too, right? Like God keep our land glorious and free. I like that. I think we've forgotten about it. I mean, like it used to mean something. I think we disrespect our anthem with what's happened in the last couple of decades, but at its core, it's a noble cause. Keep our land glorious and free. I like that.
Yeah, like I like it too. I get this like chills when I hear like, and then our flag was still there after the bombs.
Yeah.
All the
I can imagine it, right? Yeah, like a big battle, and then in the morning the the tattered flag is still flying. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a great imagery. Great imagery. I mean, both of them are. They're fantastic. So don't change it, idiots. I can't.
I'm sure we're gonna change ours in the next decade. God keep our land. That's gonna be the next one. They're gonna try and take. I don't know how they're gonna fix
Marty. The boomers that bought into all this stuff. A lot of them aren't going to be around. And then you look at the new generation, Gen Z. They're not into this crap. They don't like it. And a lot of them, believe it or not, a lot of them are more into like wholesome values. They want, like, there's more people going into religion these days than has happened in a very long time. There's more people wanting just, wholesome lifestyles. It's really crazy.
There's some cool comments coming up.
Oh, okay. What am I missing?
I think we had the next one. We had this one last week.
Where were we? We should trade Quebec for Point Roberts.
We had that last week. Remember that, Chad? You should bring up Point Roberts on the map and just show people that weird anomaly in British Columbia. Or just zoom in on go to Google Maps and just zoom in on the very, very, very bottom. Do Google Maps in not in satellite view, but do it in traffic view or something like that, and you'll kind of see the boat thing.
I've got a map right here. It really tells the tale right here. Here it is. So this is how it works. So you're in Delta. There's Richmond, Delta, Surrey, White Rock's down here, and then you go into Blaine, Washington. So this is the border.
The border is the 49th parallel. So they just literally, it's just a line and they went straight across. They should have zigzagged it at the bottom, right? Right about where your point. Yeah.
Yeah. Point Roberts is not a big area. It's not.
It's a neighborhood, right? It's basically a neighborhood.
Yeah. So like driving from Surrey, like here to White Rock is maybe like a 15, 20-minute drive. So that gives you kind of a judge of like how long that is. Like Point Roberts, you could drive across in 5 minutes.
And so Point Roberts is technically in the United States.
But it's isolated because there is a ferry. You can take a ferry over, but it's kind of ridiculous that's how you had to do it. Otherwise, you're taking this like, I think that's like an hour long trip.
So where do you think people who live there go and do, say, their Costco shopping or whatever? They just go north. They cross the border into Canada probably regularly, like every week, every day, almost. Some of them.
That's the gist of it, what I get. But I think during COVID, it was a real pain in the ass for everybody.
Like, I wonder if they have a special pass. They just go by the border and go, hi, Fred. Kind of like that Bugs Bunny cartoon where the guy goes through with his.
I forgot all about that. Holy cow.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. And I said last week, somebody made the same comment. I'm like, deal, done. Quebec for that. I'm happy with it. Consider it even. Keep the debt. Don't worry about it.
That's hilarious.
You owe us nothing.
There's a lot of Quebecers would be happy with that. That's for sure. Where are we? Vancy Guy also says they trampled veterans and seniors with RCMP horses. Yeah, they did.
Yep.
That was a native senior as well. She was like one of the elders from.
I met her. I met her in person. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was another guy that's still to this day nameless dude who got trampled first before she got knocked over. And a lot of people thought that something bad happened to him, but there was pictures of him then in one of the cruisers, and then he just disappeared. Probably doesn't want anybody to know who the hell he was because of what the government's done. He probably just wants to go back to being a.
Hey, have you ever had Danny on your show?
Who?
Danny Bulford.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you? Okay. Yeah. I think I saw him not too long ago.
Danny, when was it? I talked to him like about a month or so ago. I just called him up on the phone. He's such a dude.
had him. I ran into him in Edmonton at the AGM last year in November, and we had a long chat, and it was good to see him. Went for a drink, and yeah, we should bring him on the show again. See what he's up to these days. I don't know. As soon as I saw the RCMP, I just thought of Danny. But
oh yeah, yeah. Well, he's not with the RCMP anymore.
No, he's a truck driver in Grand Prairie now, living like the most boring, normal life ever. But he's happy with it.
Oh, he loves it. He absolutely loves it. So yeah. If anyone is asking how Danny's doing, he's doing good. He's a good man. Alberta Nan for Independence for 5 says, Marty, who filed the complaint? Was it Elections Alberta that brought this on themselves or brought this themselves? We don't know.
All fingers point to the opposing movement right now, to the For Alberta, For Canada movement. Someone in that group infiltrated and pointed out something. I mean, it's
don't they have a referendum?
Somebody had to complain
themselves too.
Yeah, their question is valid. So Danielle Smith was waiting to have both questions. I mean, one is just the opposite of the other, right? One question says, do you want Alberta to stay in Canada? Yes or no. And the other one says, do you want Alberta to leave Canada? Yes or no. Well, it's fundamentally the same question. Smith would have to decide which one goes on the referendum. We've said this all along. If our question gets rejected, we'll say, well, then put Thomas's question. We don't care. His question says, do you want to stay? We'll just go and vote no. But if you put our question, we'll just vote yes. But it's the same question. Do you want to stay or do you want to go?
Yeah. So whatever.
Yeah. That is a fallback. That's a legitimate fallback. People are like, there's already one good question that's been approved by Elections Alberta. So that's the fallback. But to the question, we don't know who complained. I mean, we'll never know, right? Or maybe we will. That's discovery. But
yeah, but that's the whole process is just to upset you. And if you focus too much on that petty BS, then you're not focusing on the prize. And I think that's really what it comes down to. Eyes on the prize. Keep focused. Keep working. Don't listen to the guys that are telling you to, oh, you gotta be more PC, Marty. You gotta be not happening. So I've known you long enough. It ain't happening.
No.
There's no asking you to be PC. There's no asking you to be milk toast or whatever. You're just gonna be Marty. It's what you get.
Yep.
Absolutely. We got one from Javelin Blue for 2 says, I love you, Marty, but civilians should own tanks or should buy tanks.
Yeah.
Well,
at least rocket launchers. I mean, tanks are expensive. I think I could afford a rocket launcher. You could too, right? I mean, it'd be nice to have an RPG.
I've seen some videos of people firing them. Have you seen that? The slow motion ballistics guy. He's lucky to be alive after.
I'd just rather have a lot of guns. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I'm totally into having lots of guns, dude. I have a shopping list. I can't wait. I might start a second or another channel just to talk about guns when I get to Texas, because I'm gonna be.
Yeah, you and I have talked about this, right? Like, I don't even look at gun videos too much anymore, because you see the Americans, like, there's a couple of channels where there's one guy who showcases like every week it's something different, and I'm just drooling, going like, oh my God. Whereas we go to Cabela's, and even right now there's nothing available because of the gun ban and the freeze and everything. But even under normal circumstances, we had like 6 models to choose from. Like, everything that was featured on those channels.
Canadian compliant, Canadian compliant.
Like, some guy will do a show and go like, hey, this is the gun that John Wick used in John Wick 3. And then you're just looking at it, drooling, going like, oh my God, I want that. Don't even think about it. It doesn't exist. It actually exists, but we can't get our hands on it. But you could you remember when we went to that gun range in Austin, there were $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 handguns there that were absolutely gorgeous. Like, lots of them. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Tons of them. And then they have all kinds of affordable stuff as well, which I'm going to be buying a lot of the affordable stuff that can actually run, you know what I mean? Because I want to go shoot. That's the whole point. But with the whole advent of FRTs, Marty, I can't wait to give me some time to get a little bit of a collection coming. Come on down and visit. I want to get into like some of the 3-round burst territory and stuff like that. All constitutional, all legal. It's I'm looking forward to it. So that's going to be lots of fun. Moving on, where we got Javelin Blue with another 2 says, here's another $2 in blue ink. Thank you so much.
You guys are laughing. Don't laugh. That was literally some days I'd collect signatures, and I'm holding this pen, and then I'd start signing my first entering the data on my first signature, and I go, oh shit, that's black, and I'd literally put it in the bag and grab a blue one. It was literally like drilled into us, like, make sure you use blue because it's can't be photocopied, blah blah. They had all sorts of excuses, but I'm like, yeah, you're telling me what to do. Like, I'm literally collecting signatures and
photocopy in color. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, that's what they were making sure that they would be able to tell that they weren't photocopy. Yeah, you could photocopy in color, but anyways, I mean, like, and I had people give me shit like, you're not using a blue pen. I'm like, wow, you are really, really, really what the government loves, man. You are a super compliant, good little citizen. Like, they told you to sign in blue, and away you go. You're in blue. Like, some people have had it beat out of them completely, Clyde. Like, absolutely, completely beat out of them. And on the flip side, I do live in a society in Alberta where there's still, thankfully, a bunch of rebels. I came, just a quick story. I came down the highway today from Edmonton. I drove home, right? And Alberta is doing an experiment. They increased the speed limit on a section of the QE2 up to 120 kilometers an hour. So now, instead of being passed by trucks doing 140, I got passed by trucks doing 160. So I'm still happy that a lot of my fellow Albertans don't give a shit about a lot of rules, right? Like, especially speed limits. For us, it seems like a speed limit on a highway is just a suggestion. Nothing
Just
more.
Suggested. Fair enough. Campsite says, Clyde, you can get the 1911 DS Warrior. The gun is probably replaced Amaranth's 2011 9mm staccato. There's tons of really awesome options. For me,
that's a cool thing, right? Americans have 2011s, right? Like, we should explain that maybe we don't need to get into it, but a 1911.
I'm not a FUD. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a FUD. Yeah. I really want to get, for my collection, a classic GI 1911 in 45. Yeah. I like all the other guns, but I am also a fan of like the polymer guns. People, the FUDs don't like polymer guns. That's just a thing, right? Oh, Marty's making a call. He's getting something.
My son Ray just came home. I'm gonna get Ray to do a beer run.
Oh, nice. Dickie Holmes says, I miss Houston. I miss my Springfield operator. Yeah, awesome. What's this? Best looking gun is the one someone made that looks like the Nintendo Entertainment System Zapper. They all exist. Have you seen some of the guns they got? What is it? The Milwaukee hole puncher.
Yeah, I've seen all those. Those are funny, but the ones I like, when he was talking about that, I like the ones guys have replicated and made pretty cool versions of guns from like Aliens, or guns from some of those movies, right? Like the alien gun, like not Alien, but Aliens. When the Marines are attacking, that's some pretty cool guns, and those guns exist now. Like, there are guns like that. Like, there's some crazy stuff.
There's a new bolter rifle, but that's going to be military only.
You're not invading the U.S. anytime soon.
No. What is it? What Japanese general in the Second World War famously said? There's no point to try to invade the U.S. Behind every blade of grass is a rifle. That's what he said. It wasn't.
Actually, we're no slouch in that department, right? I mean, we don't have quite the same type of arsenal as the Americans, but make no mistake, like, we're definitely in the top 10 in the world in terms of firearm ownership. Like, we own something like 30 firearms per 100 people. Like, a third of us technically have a firearm. Like, it's a pretty high ratio. We're right up there with the Americans are in a league of their own. Like, what are they at? Like, they're like at 110 guns per 100 people. Like, it's more than one. But we're up there with Norway, Finland, like a lot of Nordic nations like us. They have a long-standing good. Ray, do me a favor, bud. You're going to be on TV in a second here.
I'm fucking tired.
Yeah. Reach on down. This is my super tall son, Ray. who just got home. Ray's living with us for a while. We used to be empty nesters, but he's doing an engineering term. Nate, Ray, can you get me one of these out of the shop? Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's
honestly, folks, I was in a stressed out, almost bad mood earlier, but now I'm in a good mood. Thank you. I mean, it's a good chat. Everything's okay. It's cool. I don't want to go till midnight, but yeah, there you go.
Guns per capita. The United States is.
Oh, it doesn't even show Canada on this one. It's just the way they did the. But I think we're way up there. We're in the 30 range, or is Canada on there somewhere? I'd say we're ahead of France. I'm pretty sure we have more guns than France.
I wonder.
Go to Wikipedia has a good page on that too. You can do firearm ownership and Wikipedia, and then sort it by. I think I'd say we're top 10 for sure.
I'll just do this. It shows it by the countries. So
yeah, there you go.
Guns per capita by country. They love the United States. Per capita, guns are 120.5.
Yeah.
So for every 100 people in America, there's 120 and a half guns.
But even for Canada, so that's a good number, right? So Canada, 34 per 100. So that's 34% basically times 40 million. You know, it's 13.6 million guns. Like we have 13 million guns in this country, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, those Scandinavian nations, Finland. I think Finland has mandatory military service, and everybody keeps their firearm. I think Norway might almost be the same way. So Finland, Norway. Norway is lower. You can see Norway, but I think Finland's way up there. Switzerland. Oh, that's Yemen. That's those crazy buggers down there, or that's Oman, I think, or Yemen.
Yeah, I don't know the geography that well.
Yeah.
That's amazing, though. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, there it is, cracking it. So, what was it? I think it's there was a place in like New Hampshire, I believe it was. It was a township, and they passed legislation in the township that required every home to have at least one firearm. I think a pistol or whatever, or it didn't matter what it was. At least every home had to have at least one firearm and ammunition in it. Now, there was no mechanism to ensure that this was enforced by any means, but what it did was it lowered the crime rate massively in like the first year that the legislation came in, and the crime rate never rose because it just put out there that every home has a gun, so anyone who breaks into a house has a potential of getting shot. So like it's just amazing.
I'm pretty sure there's states like that or counties like that in Texas as well. Like it's
there's no mechanism because they can't enter your home, they can't search for guns, they can't do any of that stuff. But it's just one of those things like it's a bragging rights thing. Every house has a gun in this state.
Yeah.
Love it. We got Jeff Menard. You brought it up earlier that we've got a viewer in Mexico with the Mexican pesos, 100 Mexican pesos. I love how it does the denominations like 100.00 as if that. Okay, so it says Colonel David Redman discussed the pillars of national security. The threats are real and large against Alberta independence. Alberta needs to have a security task force for transition and post-independent phase. Yeah, what does that mean, though?
I mean, I haven't seen that. I know the video he's talking about. I think David did a video recently, three-way between him, maybe even Keith Wilson and somebody else. But Dave Redman is well known in Alberta. Dave is a guy he's a retired colonel who spent a career in the military doing planning and stuff like that. And then he was involved with the government of Alberta planning their pandemic response and stuff like that. And he was very critical of the government because during the pandemic, they took his plan, they threw it out of the garbage, and they started all over. And Redmond was like, "What are you guys doing?" Right? Anyway, so that's his forte, is talking about these kinds of things. And I'll have to go watch that video. I can't really comment, but David has been warning us that the battle is going to get ugly, kind of like you said. They're not going to let us go easily. There's too much at stake. And he's being very pragmatic. Like, you need to prepare for, I think that's what he's saying, or that's what he said, is you kind of need to prepare for force. They're going to use actual force against you. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess I'm still naive that way, that like, will our government use force? But I don't know why I'm still naive, because there's so much evidence of our government using force against the civilians. Like, it's crazy.
Like when people say, oh, the whole idea of using the Emergencies Act against you guys. No, they did it for a peaceful protest in Ottawa against, mobility rights. That's crazy. They beat people up and froze their bank accounts. You think they're not going to do that over like the most prime real estate in the entire country with the most wealth? Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah. So no, it's sorry, Jeff. I can't comment further, but I'll find that interview. Yeah.
As Frankie McDonald always says, be prepared. You know who that is? Frankie McDonald, the weatherman from Nova Scotia. Frankie. Yeah. Prepared. Just that's the message. Granite Man for 2 says Carney focus on Alberta separatists after Kuzma. Well,
we'll see. Right now, I'm not sure Kuzma's going to happen. I mean, Trump's not laying it down. No. I don't know.
I think Canada deserves nothing but to have the United States walk away from that agreement and then come in with a new agreement. I think it would be better long term. Without getting too much into this, I think it would be better long term. I think Canada really needs the monopolies and all of that stuff to be shut down. That would be a huge shock for the Canadian economy, but I think they would bounce back actually quite quickly if the economy opened up. I don't see that happening anytime soon. So nobody wants the cure. The cure is the actual medicine. It tastes bad, but it actually fixes you. Instead, they want the hangover medicine. They want the hair of the dog, which is more of the same. You're just prolonging the inevitable. At the end of the day, eventually you're gonna have the hangover. You're just making it worse for yourself. We've got Javelin Blue for 5 says, Marty, I love that you're going through all this crap because you're beginning to understand human nature.
I mean, I think I had a pretty good understanding of human nature. 30 years in the oil patch, working, seeing people, what greed does, what a little power does. But yeah, I'm definitely getting an appreciation on a whole new level now. And people, somebody asked me this today, like, why do you think Elections Alberta is doing that? It was Eva Chipiuk. I was talking to Eva on the way here, and she said, like, it's a combination of incompetence and it's a combination of power grab. And I'm like, yeah, the power grab is, who said that? Like, there was somebody once said power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like, it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. I thought it was Eisenhower. But
somebody like that. But I mean, people in all sorts of positions in politics get a little bit of power, and that's what happens. They just they love it. I mean, that guy must have felt really horny yesterday. Like, oh, look at me, I'm so important. I'm from Elections Alberta, and I have 8 cruisers with me, like 8 cops sitting around. Like,
it's no different than the hall monitor that was high on power in high school. That like, who are you and why are you in my hallway? And it's like, dude, if that's what power looks like, just imagine when you give them real power.
Exactly. Yeah.
Granite Man for 2 says Carney RCMP harassing soon and arrest coming soon. Yeah, well, you're looking at the what do they call it?
Well, again, I'll tell you a quick story, right? So when I was there yesterday, just before I got up on stage, at one point, I'm in the crowd and I'm talking to somebody, and somebody asked me just a very simple, wonderful question, and then I reached for my phone and I was gonna and I searched for something, and then my phone just wasn't responding, and I literally said, "Wow, that's weird. Like, I got no signal in here. And then I looked up and I'm like, is this building made out of concrete or whatever? And then I'm like, no, there's no reason. And then I forgot about it. I kept on talking to this person. Then 20 minutes later, I went, okay, now it makes sense. The RCMP was outside. And when the RCMP show up in force like that, and somebody, friend of the channel, who happened to be there, he said he saw the RCMP like a kilometer away because he was coming in. He was late and he passed them on the way in. They were stopped a kilometer away getting organized. And yeah, that's when they're setting up their little cell tower and their little scrambling and stuff like that. And I'm sure that, you know, the comment, the RCMP is coming for you. I don't doubt it. I'm sure they took note of all the license plate in the parking lot, took some screenshots of our computers without us knowing. Because I was at an event and Tamara talked about that. Like, you know, Tamara Litch talks about it. When she was in trial in Ottawa, all of a sudden the police or the other side is showing evidence that literally that's like, wow, it suspiciously looks like screenshots of my phone, because they were like, so yes, it's not a joke. You know, that comment, RCMP is coming for me. I've already told my wife, Karen, if you see the cops at the front door, don't open the door. If they knock on the door, don't open the door. Go out the back door, walk around and walk the front of the property and pretend you're surprised and go, oh, what are you guys doing here? And let them talk. And whatever you do, do not open the door and let them in. Because if you open the door and they put their foot in the door to prevent you from, you've basically invited them in. I'm like, don't. And yes, it's so sad, folks, but I'm getting prepared for that. I've had too many incidents lately. I know that I've been spied on. I know it. And I'm just a bit player. I'm not, well, I guess I got to stop saying that. I'm not a bit player. You have how many followers now on YouTube? 215, 220?
About a quarter million.
Quarter million, right? That's more than the CBC. I have more followers on X than 7 of 10 premiers in this country.
Wow. They're scared of it. That's why
they're scared of it.
They want to ban people from the internet. They want to ban us from the internet, but then they also know that the young generations they're tuning out of the propaganda machine, and that's why they want to ban 16-year-olds, anyone under 16 from being on the internet. It's crazy. Because they don't want to hear quotes like you just gave. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, which Dennis put in there. It was Lord Acton that said that quote. So thank you very much for that.
Yep.
Unreal. Let's get on to the next one. Javelin Blue for 5 says, are you ready to do it God's way, Marty? Building a new nation or your own way?
Yeah, I'm still playing within the rules. That's careful. Don't get me in trouble.
Okay, good. Javelin also for 10 says, if you don't build a Christian republic, this nation will not survive, Marty. Look at the American Revolution. The colonists were losing the war until it's supposed to be George Washington had a day of fasting and repentance. I need to look into that history. I was not aware of that.
You know, I guess in the interest of time, maybe we can play it for a couple of minutes if you can find it. There's a clip somewhere on the internet of Charlie Kirk being asked that question: Is Christianity important to the American way of government? And Charlie answers it. It's a long answer. It's about a 5-minute answer, but I mean, the way Charlie answers it, like I'm not entirely religious. Okay, I'll be honest about that. I'm not entirely religious, but I understand that morality is based on something, and it's usually based on religion. And when somebody says governments or whatever have to be moral, that moral foundation doesn't exist in a vacuum. We are not moral in absence of something like religion. And so Charlie in that clip does a great answer to saying that they go hand in hand. You need Christianity and a good the American system in particular is founded on Christianity, and when Americans stop being Christian, their whole way of government fails. And so I don't know how long that clip is, but it is interesting. Play about a minute of it, kind of thing. Hear the question and let him rhyme off a little bit. It's worth it.
Okay.
I was articulated yesterday by a couple of my friends that our country was not founded on Christian principles. Our country was founded on common law, because the Declaration only
Step away
refers to
from
God
common law.
4 times, and the Constitution doesn't refer to God at all, and it only articulates
Away
the
from the
structure of
Commonwealth.
government.
Remember that we were a collection of states and colonies, and you need to read the state constitutions before anything else. 9 out of 13 of the original states required you to be a Bible-believing Christian to serve in government at the time of the founding. You could even in actually, 13 out of 13 required a declaration of faith. 9 out of 13 required you to be a Protestant, except Maryland, which was Catholic, which still required a declaration of faith. In almost every single one of the original state constitutions, Pennsylvania included, they had, I profess Lord and Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior in the original state constitutions. So you remember, we're a collection of states before that. Secondly, 55 out of 56 of the original signers of the Declaration were Bible-believing, church-attending Christians. You asked about common law. So common law is inherited from Blackstone, who was Christian. A common law is an outgrowth of the scriptures. So let's go to 3 principles of common law: presumption of innocence, due process, and jury of your peers. All 3 are biblical principles.
Yes,
so,
sir.
and all wrapped into the ultimate biblical principle that you shall not favor justice if you are rich or poor, which is in Leviticus 19, right before the most famous part of Leviticus 19,
amazing.
which is that you should love your neighbor as yourself. But before that is that in the administration of justice, you shall not favor the rich or the poor, which is the idea of blind justice. We get that in the West.
Look at the guys
which
listening
is
to
incorporated
him.
also in the New Testament ideal, neither slave nor Greek nor Jew, you're all one in Jesus Christ, which you get the idea of human equality. These are all biblical ideas. They're not Enlightenment ideas, which is they kind of get conflated at the time. But more importantly than that, they say that God was only mentioned 4 times in the Declaration of Independence. Well, that's a big deal. Okay. Laws of nature and nature's God. The last paragraph of the Declaration reads as a prayer. It says, we appeal to the supreme judge of the universe. Who's the judge of the universe? Jesus Christ, as it says in Revelation, that Jesus will judge the earth on his throne. So in the Declaration, they were praying to Christ our Lord as a prayer very specifically. Thirdly, as I said on stage yesterday, Deuteronomy was by far the most quoted book, religious or non-religious, in the time of the founding when they were putting together the Constitution, more than John Locke, more than Montesquieu, more than Blackstone. So the book of Deuteronomy, which talked about laws, customs, traditions. It was Moses' farewell address as he's about to say goodbye, say, hey, good luck in Canaan, guys. Here's how you should set up your form of government. But finally, and most importantly, let's look at actually what the founders said.
Keep going. I mean,
John Adams famously said the Constitution was only written for a moral and religious people. It was wholly inadequate for the people of any other. The body politic of America was so Christian and was so Protestant that our form and structure of government was built for the people that believed in Christ our Lord. One of the reasons we're living through a constitutional crisis is that we no longer have a Christian nation, but we have a Christian form of government, and they're incompatible. So you cannot have liberty if you do not have a Christian population. So that's just a
bold
surface
statement.
level belief. So then they'll go to the First Amendment.
Want to hear the whole thing?
Two
No,
parts
you
of the
can
First
stop it
Amendment,
there. I
which
mean,
get-
I think that
One
answers
thing
the
I would love
question.
I would love to add to this because I think everyone should read Thomas Paine's Common Sense. It's not a big read. It was just seen as a leaflet back in the day. It's a small book of just his ideas of how we should organize society. And there's an entire book in that, or a chapter in that book, or a portion of the leaflet that's devoted to it's devoted to judges and just talking about the Jewish people in the Old Testament at a time that they were no longer slaves and they were sent off to await their time in the Promised Land and how they should organize themselves. And they looked at God and they said, give us a king. And God's like, no, not going to give you a king. And they're like, well, how are we going to organize ourselves? And he said, well, you're going to have arbiters. You're going to have a nation of arbiters. You're going to have to organize yourself and organize, judges within your, and basically laid out the whole judicial system. And he eloquently lays it out of why the judicial system is laid out in the way it is, why we have a jury of 12,
Peers,
why
yep.
and they have to be your peers, why a judge has to be impartial, and why, like, everything about it. And it's amazing because it comes from a very, very long tradition that wasn't just invented out of whole cloth, right? It came from a very long time ago, and it came from a religious sentiment. So I think there's a lot to be had there. And wow, coming from you, Marty, I was like, wow, I'm pretty surprised that you wanted to hear that in particular.
No, I'm on board with that. But then, I mean, I'll just we'll move on. I'll just say a couple of things. God bless Charlie Kirk. I mean, I wish he was still around. We need voices like that. Like the fact that somebody silenced that's telling, right? We need voices like that. And then I think voices like that lack in general in our society. I mean, it's a question that question is great, right? Will it be a Christian republic? I don't know the answer. I want to have a debate on what a potential independent Alberta looks like, but I don't think we can have the debate. That's the sad part. I don't know how we're going to have the debate, because debating is hard, and we're so diverse now in thought, and it just scares me. Anyways, it's a great question. Thank you, Javelin. It's a great question, and I just wanted to give a little tribute to Charlie Kirk. I mean, I think it is. The left has been trying to silence some voices, and that's an example of a voice in the last year that got silenced.
Fair enough. Got Alberta Nan for independence for 10 says Albertans can't let opponents or bad actors within divide us. We have worse hurdles to jump. We have to stay together and drive forward to independence. It's eyes on the prize, man. Like eyes on the prize.
That great sentiment. I say it all the time, but a little bit harder to actually put into action than human nature. It's tough to all row in the same direction. Again, what's happening right now, I think, validates one of the things I've been saying a lot lately, is that we got to try and keep this as a grassroots movement without leaders, because as soon as there's leaders, like, some people saw it differently. Some people go, oh, okay, well, David Parker being attacked is the evidence that we should have better leaders. I'm like, no. It's evidence that a leader will get attacked. And so no matter how good you think the leader is that we put out there, they're going to get attacked hard. And so David's just another victim. And if you think there's a stronger leader than David who can resist all those attacks, good luck, man. It's just, I think people are getting the wrong, wrong conclusion from what happened this week. I think it proves more than the other way around. We don't need individual leaders. We need to keep this as a grassroots movement.
Next comment is from Javelin Blue for 2, says the Hughes Amendment. Now, the Hughes Amendment was passed in 1986 as part of the Firearms Owners Protection Act.
Oh.
Prohibits the civilian possession or transfer of machine guns manufactured after the date. Now, this is an interesting part of U.S. law. You cannot just ban something and then everyone who owns it is now a criminal for owning it. Like if you ban something, it's like from this point forward.
You have to grandfather the older versions, yeah.
And not only that, if you're going to ban the gun itself, the old grandfathered in guns are still available to any citizen. You can't discriminate against the citizen. You're discriminating against the gun itself. So those guns that were manufactured before 1986 are still available on the market, and you can own them. They're transferables. So there's a lot of BS involved, and I think a lot of it's going to get upset because of the FRT stuff that's come out now that the Constitution, the Supreme Court of the United States has ruled that FRTs don't even fall under the ban here. It's almost made that ban null and void, because like whatever the function at the end of the day seems to produce the same result. So anyway, I could go on and on and on about that. Money for charity for $4.99. Give some emojis. Thank you so much. And you know who this is, right?
No,
that's David. David.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. My man, David. Thank you so much for the super whatever.
The Texas state should have been a giveaway. Yeah.
Yeah. And his wife's name's Charity. That's why Money for Charity. Yeah. Granite Man for 2 says Alberta separatist leadership needs to align USA. I agree.
They are. I mean, they've been down there. What the perceived leadership has been trying to align. I think so.
Yeah.
We need it's an important alliance. Yeah.
Yeah. Myron Ends for 5. Welcome back. Thank you so much. says red is bad. People forget that this country is actually has a lot of worth, a lot of experience, enough with the DEI and immigration. Yeah, well, the only way to stop all of that is to stop Ottawa from being able to tell you what you can do in your own province. I think that's a big step in the right direction. Sorry, this is Ken. I'm just gonna stick with Ken for member for 49 months. Oh my goodness! Thank you so much. Did you beat out Trish Brew for?
That's 4 years, man. That's 4 years and a month. Trish was 41 months, I think, or 44 months, and
that's amazing. Ken Wang.
Trish is 41 months, so that's 8 more months than Trish. Yeah,
massive. That's crazy. Thank you so much. Says late to the party, but I have you.
I have a question for you guys.
For you guys, I got you. What would you like to see as best case? Alberta on its own, or marriage with Saskatchewan, Yukon, Northwest Territories in a new republic?
Totally want a marriage. I mean, just practically speaking, though, each province has to separate first individually. So Alberta goes first, then
the Union of the United States. You'd want them as independence, but with America.
So in a perfect world, Alberta goes first, becomes a republic. Saskatchewan goes second, becomes a republic. So there's Yukon and Northwest Territories, and then we all say, "Hey, kumbaya, let's get together." I mean, yeah, that would be a fucking powerful union. Holy shit! Like, but I got to be careful because at the same time, unions are what got us in trouble, right? At my core, I worry about something being too big to be managed. So the whatever it is in size has to have a very common culture. And I think Yukon and Saskatchewan and Alberta for sure. Yukon, yes. You start getting into the Northwest Territory, they're a little bit different than the rest of us. So there could be, it could be tough there.
Well, they voted Liberal in the last election, so
yeah.
Consider that. That's exactly how that goes. Chris for 5 says, guys, if the U.S. ends CUSMA, or the USMCA as it's called in
Canada, yeah.
The CUSMA is what they call it in Canada. Then Canada is in for some seriously awful consequences. I hope not, but Carney seems bound and determined to this end. Sad. I'm in favor of ending CUSMA, honestly. And some people might not like that. They might think that that's Clyde. You're devastating countless jobs and all this other stuff. Yeah, those jobs are gonna get devastated anyway. Like let's just be frank. What was it just recently? And I got the clip here. I got the clip right at the ready. This is Rogers Communications offering buyouts of half of its 25,000 people workforce. This is what Canada Strong looks like. So without playing the whole clip, they're firing half their people, and they have a monopoly in Canada. They have a monopoly. Listen, the amount of people that would get hired on as American companies would flood into the marketplace that are just more efficient at doing what they do. You're not going to notice the difference. You're not, working for Algoma Steel as opposed to whatever steel company it becomes. Working for Rogers as it turns into AT&T or Verizon. Do you care? At the end of the day, it's a paycheck, and you're probably better off if Canada doesn't have these monopolies, and everybody would be better off as well as consumers because they would be paying cheaper rates for all of these products. And then Canada can move on and open up their economy and do better at different things. It's just asinine to have monopolies. It's dumb.
Hey, Clyde, just jump to the very last question, just because I'm just looking at just quickly, just go to the very last chat right now from Javelin.
Javelin for 10 says, Marty, Clyde, have a great night. Bedtime. See God, Marty, and Clyde, regardless of past failures. God of the Bible. You don't want to pass without accepting Christ.
So, thank you for saying that. Good night. Appreciate everything. Didn't want us to read that one 20 minutes later when they were gone to bed. So cool.
Now I got to find my place because
you were just doing I don't know Myron, right? We need to change our national anthem. You were just at that one. You just did, guys. Yeah. But before that, I just a quick weird comment. So we say USMCA, the American, or we say Kuzma, the Americans say USMCA. What do the Mexicans say?
It's like Tex-Mex or something.
Do they go Mascu or whatever? Yeah.
Another name. I'll find it real fast. What is the Mexican name for USMCA? There it is. It's called the Tratados entre Mexico y Estados Unidos. It's T-Max. That's how it's said.
Yeah, so it's this long. Yeah, that's funny.
No, it literally is just T-Mec.
T-Max. Yeah. Cool.
T-Mac.
T-Max. I like that. T-Max.
Funny. All right, moving on. Myron Ends for 5 says we need to change our national anthem back to the way it was. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, just don't change it at all. Javelin Blue for 2 says what's the East Indian population in Roberts? Point Roberts? Probably zilch. I'm gonna bet.
I'm going to bet it's a rich neighborhood, right? It's probably a fairly affluent neighborhood, maybe. I don't know.
Somebody get back to us on that one. I don't know. There's no Google search that would tell you that. Granite Man First 2 says RCMP was horrendous. RE truckers worst to come. Yeah, worst to come. I thought the RCMP wouldn't go forward with the gun grab thing, but after seeing what they did to that guy who just had smokes in his car, whatever, I have no faith that they're gonna make the right move. So brace yourselves, people. Jeff Menard for another Mexican. He's got the T-Mac money for 50 Mexican pesos. Says Forever Canada question may not meet Clarity Act requirements for the clear question.
No, guaranteed it doesn't. And perhaps neither does Jeff's question or Mitch's question. But at the end of the day, the government of Alberta is the one who decides what the question is, right? You have two groups petitioning the government saying we want a question on referendum. So the government would choose what that question is. So, no, I agree. In principle, it probably doesn't meet the Clarity Act. So the government would have to. Man, it's going to be interesting the next couple of weeks. Like, to me, Monday is such a cool day. I can't wait to hear what I hope, fingers crossed. Like, if Mitch says we got 500,000 signatures, game on. Like, game on. Good. Yeah. Go ahead, courts. You want to say this is invalid? Knock yourself out, man. Like, I look forward to him stopping there with 50 big banker boxes full of signatures and somebody saying they're invalid. Sure, knock yourself out. But on the other hand, if he shows up and he says, I only got 200,000 signatures, it's like, ugh. So I'm not jumping. I'm pausing right now. I'm just going to enjoy the weekend. Guess what I'm doing tomorrow, Clyde? I'm changing the front axle on a Mazda 3. So if you want to come over and help, you're more than welcome. Like, I hate changing axles, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm just going to relax and change an axle on a damn car. And I'm relaxing and I'm not doing anything crazy until Monday. Monday's the big day. Monday at 2 p.m. when Mitch drops off those petitions, then I'll have a clarity on what does the path forward look like.
I'll be paying attention from the Orient. I'll be in Japan watching.
Yeah. All right. So any advice on that front axle? What do I do? Just
Mazda 3 front axle. Yeah. I think it's lower ball joint. Undo that. I think it's those.
I don't even think I have to do the lower ball joint. I think I might be able to just swing it out of the way without doing. Oh no, lower ball joint. Yes, I got to do the ball joint.
That you undo the bolt. You don't have to take the part. You just
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yard it, and the one trick is to get like if you've got because you're not gonna be on a hoist. To separate it, it's got a little C-clip on the ends of the splines that go into the transaxle. That's the part where you got to give it like a good to pop it out of that. Yeah. And on the floor, one thing that I have this great tool. It's a big long pry bar but on the end, it's got a hook that's adjustable. You can adjust the direction of it. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of a hook. You can adjust it, and then it gets stuck in that place. That's really good if you can fish it in and then pop. You just get it in there. It's like a heel bar.
Yeah. I do axles on quads all the time. So on this car, I'm not too worried. But then my next real question for you is,
they can be real stubborn.
Oh no, I'm expecting it to be stubborn.
Watch out for is on that little seal. There's a spring behind the lip of the seal. Make sure you don't pop that spring off. If you do, you have to fish it back on or replace the seal. So pop it out and pull it out without nipping the seal, because if you hit the seal, it has a risk of popping that seal, the spring off.
And then how much oil or would leak out of the transmission? Is there going to be oil, or is the oil underneath the axle at that point?
It depends on the vehicle. So every vehicle is different. And so sometimes they're above the line, sometimes they're below the line. So what you do is you just catch what you got and then measure that. I mean,
put that back in. Yeah.
Got it. If your pan is clean, just throw that right back in and you
got it. Got it. All right. I'll let you guys know how it went.
What I do for a living, so I'm a professional. I know exactly what you're talking about. Chris for 2 says you guys should do a video on an auto shotgun. I've never done anything with any.
Yeah, those get taken down from YouTube unless you're very familiar with doing firearm videos on YouTube. It's so easy to just get a strike against you. Like you have to be the guidelines for doing firearm videos on YouTube are very strict,
especially if it's actually genuinely full auto.
Yeah,
it's not even allowed. You'll get your video taken down. That's crazy. Javelin Blue for 5 says, buy an FN 57 Mark III Clyde, H&K 4.
Here's somebody's shopping list. That's awesome.
Yeah, okay. That's a whole lot of them. Clyde, you can get an FRT for an M249 saw. Closed bolt, unfortunately. Yeah, I've seen those. It's all expensive.
Boy, if you can buy an M249 in the US, I'm moving. That's it. That's awesome. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you in a month. You totally buy that stuff. It's great. Oh man, man, I'll be your vacation away from home once a year, probably, to just go shoot guns. Prairie Cossack, welcome back for 5 says the rifle from Aliens was built on a bastardized Thompson with rail mounted pump shotgun. Yeah, that's hilarious. What Hollywood does is nuts.
What they do is nuts. The fact that our fans know it is even nuttier. Like, you guys are nuts.
Well, no, they're not nuts. That's great, man. I'm going to be leaning on this, because if I start a gun channel, I'm not starting a gun channel as like an expert. I'm going to be like, I'll do a gun channel of like, I'm new to Texas. I know this much about guns, but I'm going to buy a bunch. So I think we might do that. That'd be a lot of fun. RC Lamoureux for 2, welcome back, says Canada run by bureaucrat and politician mafia cartel. Yeah, it absolutely is. I'm not going to disagree. Would you?
No,
I don't. Studio for 10 said, well, thank you so much and welcome back. Says, remember, CSIS, D&D, RCMP, and the Canadian security apparatus have a copless, I'm not sure what that's supposed to say, operation agreement to share info with the CCP Intel and the UFDW. So I'm not sure that acronym is. I know the CCP is. They are absolutely terrified. Yeah, I'm with you on that. The Chinese communists have been trying to make Canada the beachhead into America for a long time. America's just not going to stand for it, man. It's not going to fly.
It just shocks me how quickly Canadians got on board with that, right? Like, I mean, hey, we're in bed with the Chinese and we're throwing around the word like New World Order and nobody panics.
That's crazy.
That's bonkers. By the way, I watched the Hulk Hogan documentary on Netflix. You got Netflix?
I do, but the kids watch it. I'm
Yeah.
so busy. I don't really have any
No, I
time.
just watched just this week they had a Hulk Hogan and he had he went from
flattering of him because
it's okay. I enjoyed it. I thought they did a proper good I mean, he had an interesting career. He was good, bad, and then
people that said that he's awful. Like even one guy on social media got canceled because he dressed up like Hulk Hogan, or he showed a picture of him dressed up like Hulk Hogan after he died. Joey Swole or whatever. Like
anyways,
the guy was
I
great.
enjoyed the documentary. I would say to people, watch it. It's entertaining. It's worth watching. But then at one point, it was a walk back through memory. Like he had the New World Order. Like they were bad guys. Like Hogan went from being good to bad, and so he joined the New World Order, and they were bad guys. And that's how I grew up. When I grew up as a youngster,
what was that New World Order?
What's that?
Is that what it stood for? The NWO? I don't know.
Yeah, the New World Order.
That's hilarious.
They were bad guys. They were bad guys. Yeah. And so when Carney throws that around, I'm stuck in that generation. Like to me, NWO is bad. So when Carney says in China, like we're part of the New World Order, all I'm thinking is like, Christ, we're the axis of evil. Like we're on the wrong team. Like
it's like Cobra Commander or whatever. What the hell? I was Joe generation. That's what I grew up on. RC Lamoureux for 10. Thank you so much. Says, may the Lord Jesus bring you all the desires of your heart. Amen. 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 Only two nations on earth use the Bible to build their constitutions and legal systems: America and Canada. Well, Canada has abandoned that one.
I find that a little bit hard to believe. Are you saying is RC saying that even England doesn't have like the Bible somewhere in there?
I think it does. Even King Charles, when he came, he did his speech. He really gave credence to faith.
Yeah.
Even speech in America. So I think, yeah, Britain is definitely founded on.
Got to be there. Yeah, it's got to be there.
Peter from Edmonton for 2 says, "Amen, Marty on Charlie."
Yeah,
absolutely. John jumping in for 279. Who's burning the churches? Well, we know. It's a mix of people. There's
lunatics. I mean, really
lunatics for sure. But lots of communists, lots of natives, and those are the groups. Unbelievable. And Muslims as well. RC Lamoureux for 2. The minute you get a platform, they snuff you. Well, you just gotta work hard, man. That's what we've been working hard. And guess what? We got a platform. We're getting out to how many people, Marty? It's crazy. There's a 250,000 people on this channel. There's how many people?
It's actually right. I try not to stop and think about that too often, but it is pretty interesting. You and I reach a huge audience.
A huge amount of people.
Like it's humbling. It's humbling some days when you think about that maybe on a given day, 300,000-400,000 people read something that I wrote. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Marty, it's about to grow because when we start publishing our chats out of Texas, because this is all going to be coming out of Texas, the YouTube algorithm is going to see everything very differently. And they're going to be pushing this out to a larger audience. This is just
going to be wild. Yeah, it's going to be crazy because you watch the analytics and so do I. It's going to be crazy to see if there is a jump. There will be a jump.
I'm going to guarantee that because we won't fall under any of these Canadian bullshit acts that they're bringing in. So we're gonna be able to get ourselves out there. Javelin Blue for 10 says, Marty, Clyde, have a good night. Oh, that's the one we read earlier. God bless. Have a great night. Thank you so much. RC Lamoureux with the last one, $2 says, take me to court, RCMP. I can prove it all, idiots. Well, that's not the point. It's the point is to drag you through the courts and ruin years of your life. We saw it with Tamara. We saw it with Chris. We saw it with the boys in Coots. We saw it with so many other people. And that's the goal. That's the goal.
I don't want to go there. I don't. I mean, but I'm prepared. I'm preparing myself. I don't want to go there, but I'm slowly preparing myself.
I'm
Yeah, I can't
preparing
believe I told
a
that to
different
Karen
thing
today.
now.
Like, I can't believe I told her that, but she's looking at me like, what? I'm like, yeah, if the RCMP pulls up in front of the house in the next week, don't answer the door. She's like, why would you say that? It's like, well, I don't know.
Be prepared.
Be prepared.
She married you of all people, man. She better be prepared.
Oh, no, I was a different guy, man. 25 years ago, I was a different guy. Non-political.
No way. I can't even imagine that. No way.
Clyde, when I was younger, it's weird, but like I do miss those days. I mean, if I had to go back to any century or any decade in my life, I would go back to say 1995 to 2001, just before I met Karen. Love my wife, but just before I met Karen, I was a happy-go-lucky bachelor living in Fox Creek, Alberta, who fished 220 days a year. Like, honestly, like I would work, and when I was done working, I had my buddies, and what did we do every day after work? We went fishing, literally. And in those days, we'd leave the boat at the lake and whatever. Nothing was locked. Everything, you didn't lock your trucks. You finished work, and what did you do? You picked up a sub on your way back to town, then you buggered off and went fishing. That was my life, man. I just wanted to fish.
I gotta find this thing. Oh no, am I not gonna find it? Maybe I'll find it on Twitter, because there's this one meme of a guy, and there's pictures of him with his wife over the years, and then I found it. This is not you, Marty, because I know Karen and she's amazing. She's quite a woman. She's fantastic. But it made me think of this. You'll have a laugh. So this is a guy compiled man with wife versus man with fish. Have a look at the expression on his face.
I know where this is going. Oh, thanks for finding that. That was hilarious. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
All right, that's a great note to end this live stream. Everybody, we're gonna figure things out for the time that I'm away. So I'll be in Japan for 3 weeks. So for 3 of these episodes, it might get a little wonky. We might have we're gonna have Yuji. He'll be in here working as basically our Jamie. So he'll be able to pull things up for us and all that stuff while continuing the talks and bringing up super chats and all of that stuff. So bear with us during that time. Then after that, I'll be in Texas for a period of time. Probably end up doing that in Texas. And then I'll be back in British Columbia for a short stint before everything changes in our lives. So yeah, root for us and root for everything that's going on. It's been great hanging out with you guys. And Marty, as always.
And if Marty ends up in jail, I'm going to set up a GoFundMe or Give, Send, Go and be generous.
Absolutely. One last one from RC Lamoureux for 2 says, what government? There's no legal system left here. Yeah, okay. Well, they'll still go after you for it. Anyway, good night, everybody. We'll see you all in the next one. Keep on trucking.
Cheers.